Shrimp time. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that Midday Show. That is your girl, Satya.
Hi, guys.
I am Sharif. I know. And we're going to have to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream, Satya. We already have a couple of OGs, a couple of early birds. We got Darwin, Havana Woody. What's up, my man? Pillsbury, Neil, Rob, Botrix, Pitchbull, and Derek Thompson. We got Jonathan Mansilla, Daryl Finch. Even Picky Eater. It is a beautiful day in Toronto, too, so I'm hoping you have a good weekend as well. PC Hoon, Vikyan Novak. We got Steven, a proper Paradox, Blue Arrow. We got Omar. We got the Pitchbull, Cesar Sandoval, Valdine. What up, D-Loaf? Big boy, what's up? Even the Katina man saying, what's up, D-Loaf? We got Chucky. Chucky? Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I know, right? That's exactly what I get. It's either that or Chuck E. Cheese when I hear Chucky, right? Lewis, Jay Haas, Jonathan as well. We talked about that. Ryan, Brian, Thompson, Andrew Chow. Fugazi Bear, where you been at, bro? Brito, Walter, the Katina Man's happy you're back. We got B. Davis, Mollard, Glenn Smith. We got the gauntlet. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
Cannot complain. How are you? How's everything? The trading's good?
Yes, today is great. I have a lesson today. I'm going to be going over some trading resources for you guys. So how the idea came up 2 weeks ago when I was on the show, when I made, my guest appearance on the show 2 weeks ago, I was asking my friends and I was saying, hey, what did you guys think about the show? What did you guys take from it? And so a lot of them were like, we thought everyone was great, amazing. Sharif's awesome. Sean's awesome. Neil's awesome. Dara's awesome. They thought, and who else am I missing? Joe. Nobody else. Okay, awesome. So I got everyone, and they thought everyone was amazing, and they thought they learned a lot, but one thing that they were struggling with was the fact that they took all that information and they're like, what do I do with it now? So I was just like, you guys need the tools, to really apply that information. So that's what I wanted to get into today, guys. So that is what I'm going to be getting into.
Get it, baby.
Trading resources. Ooh. Yes. So this is what we're going to get into. So yeah, so it was great that they were learning to trade and learning all the day trading terms and setups, but they didn't have the tools. So this is what we're going to go over. So a lot of my friends, and I assume a lot of our viewers, have come across day trading by initially long-term investing. However, we must understand that day trading and long-term investing are not one and the same. So you really limit yourself and your earning potential in day trading when you stick to day trading one stock or day trading stocks that you own long-term. Right? So not only can this skew your trading psychology, for example, going long because you hold NVIDIA stock when it's clearly a short because it's in your long-term portfolio, but the reality is the stock that you hold long-term may not be in play every single day, guys. So be mindful of that. So today we are going to be going over transitioning from investing to day trading. So today we will cover stock picking resources, identifying volatility and volatile stocks, picking the best day trading stocks, identifying unfavorable day trading environments.
Love to know about that.
Momentum trading tips. And let's get into it, guys. So transitioning from investing to day trading. So unlike investing that is most concerned with long-term business fundamentals, day trading is mainly driven by news catalysts and volatility. So we want to make sure that when we're getting in, the volatility is there. And I'm a momentum trader. I love scalping, so I need to make sure that that volatility is there. So you want to make sure that you're not in this chopping action because that, what is it? Do, 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 do. You don't want to be in that type of limbo action. You know what I mean? And so, so you want to make sure that you are having those breakouts. So we want to go with this type of action or to the upside, but that is what we're getting into today, guys. So, exactly, Fabian, you know it. So I have a low volatility stock example. So this is Dollarama. I took a picture of this yesterday. So this is an example of low volatility. So this choppy action is usually not something that we want to see when we're day trading. This stock is 602,000. So not really, the most ideal in terms of volatility. So in order to understand the best day trading stocks to choose, we must know what we are looking for. In order to get started, it is best to familiarize ourselves with how volatility and lack of volatility looks visually. being able to look at a stock or skim through a variety of stocks and being able to decipher when a stock is liquid or lacks volatility on the day or overall is a skill that all day traders should know. So guys, you need to know just by looking at the chart. Is this a good environment for me? Is this a good day trading stock? This looks ugly. Look at this. It's just nasty. Like, it's just, the candlesticks are not too long. It's just more of like a line. And so that is another tip that you can use to decipher, whether it's low volatility or just a liquid as well. So another example that I have, the two was Dollarama and the EBF. So EBF was 108,000. So that is typically not a very good volume to have. Typically, I like to have my volume stocks over 1 million in volume, and I find that is most ideal when I'm day trading. So that is what I am looking out for, guys.
Hey.
So 1 million in volume, that is most ideal for you guys. So I was talking a little bit about liquid stocks. So last time I was on the show, I shouted out, I was like, what is a meta derivative? And someone shouted out METU. And I looked at it briefly and it just looks pretty illiquid, like it's just lines. And so that is a good indication of an illiquid stock. So I know that, there are some people that like trading derivatives, but you want to make sure that it is liquid. So look at that as well.
Right.
So with going back to the other ones, I know that people typically, they're saying, hey, this could look ideal for a range trade. And I know there are people who like range trades, but as a momentum trader, this is a poor trading environment for me because it would require you to catch the very top or the very bottom. And, given the limited time constraints that we have, needing to be out by 4 p.m., being flat at 4 p.m. by the end of the day, it gives us a small window. And so I don't want to be waiting at my desk, waiting for something to happen when I could be in stocks that are already in play, guys. So that is what we are looking for. So my time is better spent, looking at stocks that have high volatility. It is suggested that you stay away from stocks that have less than 1 million, as I said, and avoid barcoding action. So a resource that I think is really useful, and some of you guys probably already know it, Yahoo Finance. It is pretty easy, and so what I usually do is I go to Yahoo Finance, say I'm looking at a ticker, Tesla's pretty popular, go on there on Tesla, and I'm looking at the volume and the average volume. So typically I'm looking at the discrepancy between what the volume is for the day and the average volume as well. So going back here, guys.
I sorted by volume.
So an example that I have here is Crocs. So how can you gauge when a stock has low or high volume on the day? So I'm identifying discrepancies between the volume and the average volume. So the volume is the current day's volume, and the average volume is over a period of time. So this could be within a day, week, a month. I don't know exactly how Yahoo Finance calculates it, but it's over a longer period of time, and that's how you gauge the average volume for the day. So another example that I have, it's still Crocs here. So Crocs on September 24th, around 3:47 is when I screenshotted this little picture here. It was approximately 454,000 shares traded below the average volume. So I'm going to show you guys what 34% below the average volume looks like when you're, looking on the ticker. So here is Crocs, and look how it's just this chopping action. So this is what 34% below average looks like.
Wow.
So not too great looking there. So another representation that I have is BNZI. And so this one was around, I believe, 5,790% over the average volume. So that is crazy. So if you're trying to see what that looks like, this is has more volatility, clearly. And you could see that just through the long candlesticks. And, there's more going on there. So that is the ideal thing that you're looking for visually when you're looking for the right day trading stocks. So another resource that I like to use is Market Chameleon. I typically use Market Chameleon in the morning. I use it for pre-market movers, screeners, unusual options activity, and dividend calendars. But guys, I am not, an options trader like Joe. He's, the options king. I more so use it just to gauge what, stocks are moving and what may have volatility. So that's what I mainly use it for.
Bang.
So if we go into Market Chameleon here, we have our most active gainers. So typically, I like the mid to large caps. So I'm typically looking for stocks that are around $80 to $100+. So I'm looking for those here. Just take a scan through there. I look at the main gainers, taking a scan through there. And sometimes I look at the decliners. You could look at that as well, but that is not really my main focus there. So great and amazing tool there. Unusual options activity is also a tool that we can use. So you could just take a scroll here. So we got BABA, NEO, PDD, MSTR, Rocket Labs, Costco, things like that. And so I'll just take a scan and I'll look at the charts and I'll see, what do those stocks look like today? Is it breaking that pre-market high? Is it breaking that pre-market low? And then I gauge from there, guys. So that is a good resource as well.
Bang.
So another one is unusual options activity in Benzinga. It's the same thing as Market Chameleon, just another, platform. I'm pretty sure that, we support Benzinga, talking about Benzinga Pro. So if you guys are really serious about trading, go get that Benzinga Pro.
Jeez,
yes.
This girl's going to ads already.
Yes.
I like it. First day.
Yes,
okay,
guys.
okay.
And so, so you could go on Benzinga Pro and you could look. So the SPY is doing some action there. Meta, SLV, GLD. DG, MU, and the QQQ, guys. So look at those as well. So next, where are we going? Investing.com. You know what? I'm going to shout out Wayne in the back.
Wayner.
Wayne has actually put me on to this investing resource, investing.com. So he does a lot of
actually
earnings
really good. And I love you got the earnings calendar.
Yes.
It's got FedSpeak. It's got everything on there.
Yes. So
he's hiding behind that monitor, by the way.
Shout out Wayne. He's hiding. He's probably killing those trades back there.
Joe.
So this is investing.com. So this shows us all the earnings resources that we have. So we have like a little sun, which shows us the earnings that will come out before market open. And then we have a little moon that will show us, the earnings that will come out after market close. So after 4 p.m. or later. And that's a really nice resource. I know there's other resources, but I'm a visual person. So I find the little sun, the little moon. It makes things so much easier, guys. So let's just do that. Next, what are we on? Finviz. Finviz I really like as well. Has news on there, has the ATR, and it has a public insider trading list that I like, as well as a heat map. So the ATR is the average true range. So the average price variation within a given time period. So you could look at that on Finviz as well as TradingView. So if you go on Finviz, I have NVIDIA pulled up on here. And so if you scroll down a little bit, it's just this window here. So the ATR within the past 14 days is 536. So that is an easy way to gauge the ATR on Finviz. Or you could use TradingView. It's not allowing me, but you could use the indicator on TradingView, and that shows you a range as well for the ATR. So you could look at it on the minute, the 5 minute, the hour, the monthly. So I think that is a really good tool, and I use that every single day. And shout out to Joe for showing me that. Not new Joe. Oh.
Yeah. Just F11. F11, I think.
F11.
Yeah. There you go.
Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Not Trader Joe. There's another Joe back there because when I first came here, I was just like, Joe. Jose. Yes, Jose. So shout out Jose because he showed me this, and I was like, Jose, I don't know the average movement of a stock. Like I'm in
There's his
crypto.
head, by the way. He's got white headphones on. Anyone who's wondering who Jose is.
Yes, Jose. And so yeah, I was just like, I'm a crypto girl. Crypto moves like hundreds, of dollars a day, and so I don't know the average movement of a stock. So he taught me about the ATR. I think it was my first or second day here. So shout out Jose. I can't take the credit for that. It's all him, guys. So shout out to him.
Jose loves golf. Have you noticed that?
Yes, he's a big golfer.
Golfing up a storm every time back there. Yeah.
So another thing that I use as well is public insider trading information. So this is available on Finviz as well. So public insider trading information on Finviz shows trading transactions involving an affiliate of the company. Example, the CEO, the director, the chairman, and it shows buying or selling of a stock, which also includes the name, the date, the number of shares traded, the transactions, so whether it's a buy, sell, options exercise, or a proposed sale, the cost, the value, the number of shares total, and the SEC form. So that is a really good tool as well that I use. So I don't use it in the typical way that other people use it. So some people use the insider trading information to gauge a bias, long or short, based on what the affiliates are doing with the stock. However, I find the insider trading information list more useful for identifying tickers that may experience increased volatility due to shareholders potentially reacting at or around price levels the insider trader bought or sold at, which ultimately can give clues to potential support and resistance zones at key price levels. Overall, I prefer to use this information as a watch list resource to add tickers on my radar to further investigate potential volatility throughout the week, or I use the transaction price to look at over-under levels rather than using the transaction for a definitive bias to go long or short. Because my executions are uniform, they're pretty uniform, I like to go, above VWAP. If it's above VWAP, I like to go long. If it's breaking VWAP, I like to go short. And so, again, I don't use the public insider trader information to gauge, okay, Jeff Bezos sold at 200, so I'm going to sell, but more so that Jeff Bezos sold, so maybe there may be some increased volatility throughout the week. So that is what I use it for, guys. So that is that. We have that there. So an example that really stood out to me and why I really used it was in July of 2024. So between June 27th and June 11th, there was really that top. Jeff Bezos was just selling off. And I wish I looked at this resource because I was actually going long that day, and that was crazy. But if you look, this was around the time that Jeff Bezos was selling, and typically around that time, it didn't break that 201.31 level, guys. So that could have been a really useful tool for me. I wish I found about it sooner. So that is what we are going through. So overall, how do you identify suitable day trading stocks? You want to look at the RVOL. So the RVOL is an indicator that tells traders how current trading volume is compared to past trading volume over a given period. And then the ATR is the average price variation within a given time period. And then you could also look at scanners, news catalysts, earnings, volume over 1 million, current versus average volume, unusual options activity, and using indicators such as the RVOL, the volume, and the ATR, guys. So that concludes my lesson. Thank you for joining, and I'm going to bring it back to
Love it. Thank you very much for that, Satea, dropping hot lines. Appreciate that. And I think, obviously, if you're flying blind, it's a bit of, thank you, Ram. She said don't.
No, really
don't do it.
You need to make sure you know what you're doing, what you're looking at, and those are some simple tools. And I know there's some veterans that already know these tools, and if you didn't learn anything, well, that's okay. But I know that there's going to be a lot of new viewers coming
I don't know
on,
about that.
And we want to make sure that everyone's at an equal playing field so that they could use those resources and really apply. Because sometimes I know it seems like we're talking French, when we're on the show. So we want to make sure that we just make it a little bit comprehensible, make it easy for you guys.
Fabian's killing me in my ear, man. He's so funny. Guys, while Satea was dropping said hot lines on the lesson, and thank you again, we had a pump here in GameStop, and I'm unsure what to make of this. I'm only getting notifications of the spike in volume and the fact that it's positive on the day. It's not up by much. It's up by 1 2/3. We did momentarily breach $23, got up into 23.10. That's the high of the day. We're currently trading right now at about 22 2/3. Again, I don't know what's going on, but with GameStop, typically, there may be some social media stuff. We will find out. If you do know, and you have the source for the news, please tag Satea or I in the chat, and we'd love to be able to share that with everybody else. All right, I'm in one trade right now. I'm in Zeekr at the moment. I'm break even on it. I'm looking for Zeekr to continue up. It's defending 21. In the way that I'm kind of comfortable with. What I'm not comfortable with is the lower highs. But I'm also cognizant of the other side of the coin, the compression pattern, the bull pennant, so to speak, that's forming here. There is the flagpole. It's kind of a skewed flagpole, not very vertical, more diagonal, but look at the higher lows, but lower highs. There is a definite tug of war happening right now between said buyers and sellers. How do I know that? Because when we ascend into a new price area, I don't want to say it's price discovery, but we're met with aggressive selling. And you can typically see that it's aggressive selling by how quickly the tape and the book move. If you see flashes, especially on mine, and I want to update everybody about what the colors mean on mine. Blue, red, yellow, and green and orange, they all mean different things. And so when I see waves of red and blue, blue means below the bid. That means sellers are trying to get the hell out of there. They don't even want to get printed on the bid. They're okay with being printed below, hence why it flashes blue. Orange, the other way around on my time in sales. When I see flashes of orange, means people are buying at above the ask. So exuberant are they to enter into the name. And there you go. You see flashes. See that? That's the orange or whatever color you guys think that is. Green and orange usually means good. I'm looking for a top break, but there is a gnarly seller here at 40. They've been hanging out there for a hot minute here on ZK. Zeekr, in case you don't know what this is, it is a Chinese electrical vehicle. And they make decent cars. Let's put some respect on their name. Whether they're state subsidized or not, that isn't really my concern at the moment. So good look. I'm looking to wet my beak at 60s. I did dollar cost average into an area that I liked, which was that 20 penny area, but 21 is my line in the sand. I fat fingered on a trade that I like, Rocket Labs, nice curl here, kind of that rounded bottom off support. I punched in through 10. I didn't mean to take the entire thing out through here, but that's what ended up happening. So we'll look to set up hopefully a little bit better as it makes new highs. It's going here, 1030 HOD on this bad boy. So I don't have too much going on right now, but goggles, Katina man, just got into the volume weighted average price, and there seems to be a hammer candle forming. So exuberant are the buyers today. And what I also like about this area is that it's VWAP, that is. It's an area of previous consolidation on Google, and we consolidated there from 10 o'clock until the breakout at 10:25. So there was price action, let's call it resistance there for a hot minute. What happens to resistance once it gets taken? Or so the textbooks say, it flips to support on occasions. So right now, 164.43 or thereabouts was where the volume weighted average price was on Google. A hammer candle forming, but let's not put too much stock into one candle, and let's see what happens after this. But obviously, it's been the strongest name. We have to respect Google on the day. The #1 Mag 7 performer on the day. Google 1.18, Katina man. Goog 1.30. Same biz, same deal. We trade Google on this floor. I don't know why. I don't care. But volume. But Katina man, it's like a few. Yeah, it's 2 million more. Fair. It's 2 million more shares per day. So that's a look there. So I'm keeping my eye. That's really the only Mag 7 name I'm interested in. Apple kind of had me interested earlier because it kept bottoming tail into 228. But I said, look, so what? It's bottoming tail. So what? It's still putting in a plethora of lower highs. And in fact, somewhat lower lows, even though it's finding a bit of support at 228. So I don't want to be first, nor do I want to be subject to a flat bottom break. But get it, Katina man. But clearly, the Katina Man short Tesla at these levels, people. So if you're not following along with the Katina Man's trades, you're missing out. So you better mosey on over to more Trader TV, baby, and get both streams set up there on said computer. 228 Katina Man was acting as support, but it is no longer doing that.
We're also almost out of our queues.
The Katina man is almost done wetting his beak on the Q's profits. He was short there for a hot minute. Is the #1 name on that side of the desk today. T Dang Triple Q. Shout out to him. He's doing. Come to the chart quickly. He wants to show his position.
Here we go.
I suck. And there it is, baby. Look how many, multiple entries there. I love how you stayed committed, baby. He stayed committed to the craft. He's committed to the craft, people. So I just got stopped at a Zeeker, mistake there, but I did like the compression pattern. I would do it again if I could, even knowing what I know now, because it is a move up, it is a bull pennant, so to speak. The level does give way. This ain't an exact science, baby. So we're gonna do what we can, and we're gonna set up again. Somebody's $1 in the money off that 257 short on Tesla. Hey, I like it. Get it, Katina man. Excellent trades there, brother. VWAP breach there, and the Katina man was all over it. Keep your eye on more Trader TV. Adam DeLuce, where's the place to be in Toronto on a Friday? I'm only gonna say one place, baby. You go to Texas, Paris, Texas. I'm just joking. I like country music. If you like country music, Adam, that's your spot. I don't know how. I think you're not. I think you're like early 30s, right, Adam? Or late 20s. Let me know, because it makes a difference. Yeah, hit it. Katina man nodded, so we're good there. I think it should be good. But shoot me a text on the gram, brother. There's a lot of stuff. The area you want, though, Adam, is King West. Just ask any cab driver or Uber driver, King West. Very, very live area. Toronto, Friday, Saturday night. You should have a really good time there. All right, Satay, anything you're looking at?
So I am looking at Tesla right now. I like the fact that it's approaching VWAP, not too crazy with the volume in terms of breaking it. I'm thinking that this 257.08 could be a level for me. Yes, so I'm looking at this resistance level. This orange line is my resistance level. I would probably risk off of that, and I'm gonna take a stab at it. So let's do this thing. Let's just let me do it. So Tesla. So yeah, I'm gonna put my position here at 257. I know, guys. I'm taking long. I'm sorry, Grandma.
The Chilean nightmare is impatient today.
257.06, 257.08. I know. I'm sorry. I'm getting old. Okay, it's my birthday next week. I'm turning 26. So
Cheers!
Yes, so I'm getting older, you know. But we're gonna put this position here, and you know, we're gonna wait for that as well to trigger. Might be waiting a long time, but you know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be patient, and so that's what we're gonna do. What are you looking at, Sharif?
I'm texting.
Oh, he's texting. He's solidifying his plans on King Street West.
I know. And then the Chilean nightmare got into the chat. He had to voice his opinion. Ossington. Oh. Are you Ossington or are you King Street West?
King Street West. King Street West, Lavelle.
There you go, baby.
I love that place.
There you go.
That is a really nice place.
Yeah, Lavelle's sick rooftop.
Yes,
sick
it has
rooftop.
a nice pool. It's super luxurious. I love that place. So definitely check that out if you're in the city. Great place to be.
You been to Coast before?
I've not been.
It's on Blue Jays Way, and it's like the top of the hotel, and it's got a sick view of like the Toronto skyline. Also got that pool. That's what got me thinking. You said Laval, you said pool.
Yes.
Coast got their own pool.
Okay.
K-O-S-T.
How's the food though?
Actually, it's not too bad. You're not gonna get meals,
No.
but it's gonna be those finger foods. It's
I'm
more
gonna
of a
leave
drinks
hungry.
place. Yeah, you're gonna leave hungry. Yeah,
So I'm
you're gonna have to pick
McDonald's.
up street meat.
Oh,
yes,
man.
you are.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys. I got bamboozled at Zeeker, excuse me, not Ezekiel Elliott. It did break down, but look, this is the look, Fabian. I don't want to be quick to jump in here because now what we're seeing is a pattern of lower highs and those lower lows. It's not exactly like $21 held there. Now, if this ends up bouncing off 2080 and then we get a specialist breakdown below that 21 level to bamboozle people like myself, well, then that's the look. But what I'm going to be looking for is a new type of pattern, which is show me some dang higher highs. We haven't gotten any higher highs since we printed this topping till candle at a quarter to the hour. So I'm going to be all eyes and ears and whatever else to see if Zeeker wants to continue, but it's setting up similar to what I would see as a bull pennant. Initially, it looked like, a flag. Initially, it looked like a pennant because we had that compression pattern with lower highs and higher lows, but that didn't manifest. That pattern is bupkis. So we're going to keep eyes on this one right now. If it sets up a bit better, I'll definitely be interested. Rocket Labs is still doing the dance with no pants here at $10, and I don't know what it's doing, but what I know for a fact is putting in higher lows. So I'd like to involve myself here at a bit of a better price. There's definitely a tug of war between buyers and sellers at this $10 area. And here's what it looks on the 5, right? I mean, I love to execute on the 1. I chart off the 5. This is what had me interested. Look at the drop into volume weighted average price. We get the close above VWAP, meaning the market participants are using VWAP as a level here. You're not going to convince me that we just found support there willy-nilly. And then what we started doing the rounded bottom, that curl, incrementally higher lows and higher highs, holding respectful to that 10 exponential. So, we're not blowing through the top or anything like that, but it is showing me what I like, and I do not have a problem adding into the dips on this one, say it around maybe 9 mid-80s. 85, 86, that's where VWAP is at. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man's reloaded on the Tesla short, guys. So he's already printed on that, so he's looking to do it again. If you're following along with the Katina Man's trades, he is shorting Tesla again. So back to a Rocket Lab right here. So I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. The more safe trade or the safer trade, excellent English, Sharif, is to wait for a dip into VWAP. I tried, right? But this one, I'm really a little bit unsure about. We have some questions for you, though. Because, you're dropping hot lines during the lesson. You can't just expect drop hot lines and not to be questions,
I know, I just kind of fell back after that. Sorry, guys.
All right, I got a question for you. Vin Duong here asks, what are the pros and cons of a swing trader versus a day trader? What do you feel about that?
I find with swing trading, you really open yourself to a lot of risk long term because I more so did swing trading in my crypto account, and honestly, I would sleep. I couldn't get a good night's sleep because I had open positions. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I gonna get liquidated? It was crazy. And so I felt like with day trading, at least I know the time frames, 9:30 to 4, I'm in, I'm out, and I know that, I could live with the profits or losses that I have, whereas with the swing trading, sometimes, you're leaving those positions overnight, and so I find that it just adds, extra stress levels. So I find, day trading is better in terms of that. It just keeps my psychology right. And I just find the profits are more consistent, I find, just because, I'm not overthinking things. So that's what I would say.
All right, fantastic. We got more questions, but we got to pay some bills.
Okay, yes.
All right, so we got to pay some bills.
All right.
Are you guys tired of being late to the trade? Are you always playing catch up in the market? Are you missing out on the big moves because you're just too slow to the news? If so, Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get those breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else and pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving. And yes, join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? If so, visit benzinga.com/pro and get yourself that free 14-day trial. Shout out to the good folks there at Benzinga. All right, so that is a look there. I gotta shout out the Chilean Nightmare because he brought this to my attention. Guys, Satea dropped hot lines. She's gonna be dropping hot lines, when she does the lessons. And if you have questions for her, there's a way to do it without just tagging her and I in a way that the production team can keep tags on it. Look at the little bar there at the top, this little white top over here. Questions for Satea. How do I... If you don't want your questions to get lost in the sauce, as Obi would say, you will put it in here. Ask a question. Here we go. Let's go. Let's ask Satea a question. Let's go. How do I ask the question, bro? I did, Ram. Question, ask something. There it is. Oh, that's nice. And where do I enter it? Down here? I'll ask a question. In the chat. Satea. It's S-A-T-E-Y-A, right?
S-A-T-E-Y-A.
Got it.
Yeah.
S-E-T-A-Y-A.
No,
oh, S-A-T.
S-A-T-E-Y-A. Yeah.
Satea,
yes.
Can I borrow money? All right, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just want to show people exactly how to do it. So throw your questions in to the chat for Satea. Use that operation there that as we showed you, it helps us to keep track of things. I want to mention quickly, that Rocket Lab still holding that $10 area. Very interesting to me at this level, Fabian. But I'm not going to be quick into this one. I'd like to have something possibly into the 980s, maybe into a dip of VWAP. Guys, we're breaking down on the Mag 7 and on the Future. The only one that is doing well in Mag 7 world right now, it starts with a T and ends with an A. Can you guess which one? It's the only one that is above the volume weighted average price as we speak. Even the Google, which had been the best performing on the day, has now broken down below VWAP. It is at an interesting level because this time at this level at about 10:15, we did get right here 164.10, 164.15. We did find a bit of a footing and possibly curling back up, but this could be setting up as a head and shoulders. Not saying it is, but there's your left shoulder, the bulbous head, and then possible right shoulder forming. Again, you're gonna have to wait for the pattern to manifest, but it's good to have advanced notice of them to see what's going on there. So Tesla, the best, I don't want to say the best, the strongest of the Mag 7. Everything else, including NVIDIA, really selling off in at lows. You can see the futures contract over here, the NQ December contract, very respectful of the 10 moving average on the 5. Basically, most of the closing prints, I don't want to say all, but most of the closing prints really shadowing that area, that magnetic effect that the OB, he is the one Knob always talks about. So we shall pack our patience and see exactly what manifests here, but I'd like a bunch of different names, both mega caps and the small cap gappers. You're just going to have to set up. So we didn't talk too much about these other small cap gappers. I gave you ZK and RKLB. Those are the ones that I've executed on. Positive on RKLB, negative on ZK, but there's others, baby. LU, look how respectful this one is of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. I should warn you though, this one's a bit light on volume, and you can usually just glean that by having a look at the candles. I don't even need to look at the volume bars most of the time. When you just get so in tune with these charts, you know when the volume is low by looking at the candlestick bars. So this one's done about 5 million shares on a $3 name. That's Bupkis. It's not even a small capper. It's $2.83 billion market cap, so it's a bit up there. Over 1 billion shares float, so it's going to take, I don't know, a lot to move this. Let's find out what the short float is. Possibly maybe working with a bit of a bigger short float here. LU. No, 0.83. Okay, so I'm getting markedly different data here. I'm getting about 500 million share float on Trade Ideas, and I'm getting 1.1 billion on my platform. So that's just part and parcel of using this, using software. Sometimes they don't jive, and that's just the way it is. So RKLB curling up, LU bouncing off the 10, and LUNR. Didn't mention this one. This has been going for days and days now, lunar. So let's just go to the hourly, give you an idea of what this one's been doing as of late. It really started its life as a small cap gapper, or a momentum small cap gapper. It looks like towards the end of August there, and we had some more momentum mid-September. So good look, not bad on LUNR on the day. Highly respectful of these moving averages over here, but it now is putting in lower highs. So need to be cognizant of that and see if its best moment intraday is behind its Satea.
Awesome. So I see people saying NVIDIA in the chat. So NVIDIA, it looks pretty bearish on the day. I was actually looking at this in the morning, actually. And, you know, I was getting prepared for the day, so I didn't stay in as long as I would have. But we are seeing this breakthrough, this pre-market low, and that would have been a really nice place to get into. As of right now, it still looks like it's on a downtrend as of right now. So
what's going on over there?
So I'm just drawing my trend line here as well. What I could possibly see it doing is maybe tracing up to VWAP if it does want to go up today, but I don't think that it's going to really break this VWAP or this 122.67 level. I think that it might retrace up down to this trend line and bang down around 121.10, or maybe retrace up to VWAP around 121.82 and then go down from there. But I don't know, I'm not a fortune teller. So if it does break VWAP though, I might, you know, think that it could go to the upside. But I really want to see what it does at VWAP to really determine, because we are not anticipating, we are participating.
Oh.
And so, yes, that's what we need to do, guys. And so that's what I'm looking for. How about you, Sheree?
One sec, just need to set up for this ad read. And people don't read usually Vietnamese, so I've got to convert it to English.
Okay,
so sorry, give me
No
a
worries.
sec. Yeah.
So I just got stopped out of my Tesla, so I got in around 257.08, and then I put my stop loss at 257.55. So it got stopped out there. Was it 55? It was, yeah, 55. And so I got stopped out there. Really sad about that. It does look like it's on an uptrend right now. So if we go back to Tesla. Ooh. I think I had a really bad read on that in terms of the short. So yeah, we're looking at this trend line. I like the fact that it's hitting this trend line. So it hit this 254.54, went up, came down, went up, came down, and then it's just trending upwards. So really what I really want to see here is this hold of 257.10. Hopefully it consolidates there and continues upwards. And I think this looks pretty strong. And if we could get up here to 259.36, that would probably be my take profit from here as well. But Tesla looking good. Sad that, I got stopped out, but it is what it is. How about you?
Good. All right, let's talk about some Vinfast here. Vinfast, Vietnam's leading electric vehicle manufacturer, has announced its Q2 2024 financial results. Deliveries surged by 44% quarter over quarter, with 13,172 EVs delivered, bringing the first half total to over 22,000 vehicles. Guys, that is a 101% increase year over year. Q2 revenue as well climbed to about $357 million. That's up 33% quarter over quarter. Vinfast's success in Vietnam is absolutely pivotal, driven by rising EV adoption. With global expansion and new models like the VF3, Vinfast aims to deliver 80,000 vehicles in 2024, maintaining its commitment to sustainable mobility. We're going to shout out to good folks there at Vinfast. And it wouldn't be an ad read, Satea, if I didn't mention how much I like the VF9. So I'm just going to do that. That's kind of like my little...
Do you have that car?
I don't, but I really like it.
Oh, okay.
Every time I go to Yorkdale, they've got a spot at Yorkdale Mall, and like they're always showing up their cars. I'm telling you, you're going to like it too if you see it. But it's kind of sporty. It's their
In my
more
mom's
expensive
car,
model.
vroom, vroom.
I know, right?
that
Because you
meme?
just got your license.
Yes,
True?
I did. Yes,
True?
I did last week. Yep.
Hey, okay.
So I'm on the road.
Hey.
Watch out. No, I'm a good driver.
Yeah, she's not going to take no flack, Fabian. So you better be ready, baby. Guys, I'm involved again in RKLB. We're an entire, a huge 3 pennies in the money over here. No, seriously though, I like the pattern on here, man. Consistent. It's not parabolic, but it's respecting the trend. But there is obviously a bit of a tug and war going on at 10.10 in the same way that there was a tug of war between buyers and sellers at 10. So you feel like this is thickly traded. And RKLB is not like here tomorrow or here today, gone tomorrow. This is a $5 billion market cap. It's done about 24 million shares on the day, and the float is 421 million shares. And let's find out what the short float is. RKLB will shout out the Nos Boss and his crew. Nos Boss is very, very bullish on crypto. I don't know if you got to hear his segment today. Rocket Labs, though, guys, 18.75% of the float is being borrowed for short. So that is a sizable amount there, definitely not negligible, and something that we can use to our advantage. So we're going to keep an eye on that. But we're also going to keep an eye on some of the questions that are flooding in here for you, Satea. So we're going to throw another one your way here. Satea, how are you at using options data?
I haven't used an option.
Fair.
Data, no.
Let's see what is being said here. Does the public insider buy sell information show up on level 2, or is it done hours to days before it is updated to the public? I mean, these questions could be within our scope.
That is outside of my scope, honestly. Would they be within the dark pool, Ricks?
Possibly, yeah. We can look into that one in a hot second, but this one I think you're going to like.
Okay.
How did you figure out that you were a momentum trader and not a range trader? This is interesting because I love how you showed certain charts there and you were able to establish ranges quite quickly, and you're like, look, this isn't the jam. Like
Yeah.
this isn't moving. This is locked in a range.
Yeah.
This isn't my style.
For sure. Well, I think it comes from my background. Like crypto is very volatile, and so I kind of just adopted that. But also too, just the constraints that we have on the floor. I found that just being in and out very quickly was just easier for me just to collect those profits because I was the type where I was waiting for those big moves and I was waiting all day. And I remember I was trading Apple one time and I was in that trade for 2 or 3 hours, and then it was in the money and I was like, oh my gosh, great. And then it was out the money and I was just like, oh my gosh, I could have just taken a scalp and just taken my money and ran for the hills. But, you know, and that's my problem. I hold the trades too long when I'm doing a range trade because I just don't know when to get out. Whereas when I'm scalping, I get out, I take my money, I reassess, and if I really like it, then I'll get back in.
Love it.
But I think that's just a lot easier than, you know, seeing your level, it coming down from your level and you're thinking it's going to go back up because you're fooling yourself. It probably isn't, you know? And so, yeah, scalp trading really keeps me in check. Momentum trading, it really gets me in and out quick, times, easy. And so that's what I love to do. So,
We
yeah,
love it.
That's
We
why.
love it. Absolutely. Thank you for that. We'll keep the questions coming as and when they do come in, but I got to show this. I mean, like, you can't ask me not to show this. What is going on here? This is what Ram was chuckling about. Look at Hobie. Look at Hobie. Why is his head like that? The poor guy. Oh, my goodness. I like the Katina man over here. That's a good look as well. Brendel's all
looks
Superman.
awesome,
Yeah. So, I mean, Adara's got her Amazonian look on, Wonder Woman. I thought we should have put the Obe's face on Wonder Woman. She's an Amazonian, right? And
That
he's
is
the
true.
Amazonian.
Yeah, that would
I'm
make
not
more
making it
sense.
up, Stan.
Come on,
So,
Rammer.
like,
Do better.
yeah, this is great over here. I don't know why I'm Batman, but that's okay. I don't even like Batman. I like Iron Man. I'm an Iron Man kind of guy.
Yes.
You're actually a really good point, man. Okay, so I take that back because the Chilean Nightmare is like the same guy. I don't know if they're the exact same guy, but there's a lot of similarities, right? One's that, you know. Yeah, no, you're not. He's like, they're both Playboy billionaires, so hey. Neither has powers. They all rely on tech. No, you're absolutely right, man. I didn't make that comparison. You're absolutely right. Shout out to Chilean Nightmare, man. All right, I wet my beak here on some profits on RKLB as it's continuing to curl up. Small out here. We'll continue to look to trade this one if it does move up on there. I'm sorry, I won't hate on Batman, guys. I'm sorry. The Watchman, says Glenn Smith. That's not a bad one either. The best detective, the Chilean Nightmare says. He's probably not wrong there. Guys, I'm keeping my eye on ZK. I'm still cruising for a bruising over here. I'm already negative on it. I'm looking to get back positive. It was awfully respectful of the 20 moving average on the 5 exponential. And now it's kind of putting in higher lows, but it hasn't quite yet put in those higher highs that I want to see. Now, maybe if it starts putting in those higher highs, I've missed my opportunity. If that's the case, then it sucks to be me, but I'm looking to execute on this one. I'm also looking to execute on LU, man. I got to take off GME here, man. LU, it's not giving you dollars, but it's giving you predictable moves. And there is enough volume on this one for you to size in. It's already printed 5 million shares on the day. Most 5-minute candles have about, you know, a few 100,000 shares. So if you'd like, there is ample room to be able to get in and get out. The spread is also 1 penny, a predictable spread. But I would personally look to take it off a dip trade rather than punching it at highs. I missed my last opportunity at about 3 1/4. It was over here to basically defend a previous area top. So LU in play, 16 1/3%, 16.5%. Let's put some dang respect on this one's name, but definitely looking for more. What the? Okay, so we got a nice pump up there on RKLB into about the 1/5 of a dollar. I was not waiting there, and I will not be looking to take any more out on RKLB unless it dips back in, maybe into 10.05. Because that's where the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 is. So if I'm going to add into this one, it's going to be at predictable areas that it's respected. Also, I'm sorry I keep talking about these small cap gappers, but it's small cap gapper season, baby. And it's just proof is in the pudding. There are most of them above VWAP. LUNR continues to give you, man. Continues to give. Let me just load this up because it's looking awfully weird over here. LUNR. Sometimes my charts don't update unless I put them on my watch list on the side. No, man. This is definitely still curling up. It's obviously having issues with 9. I'm talking about LUNR. It hasn't breached 9 yet. In fact, hasn't even touched 9. 898, but awfully respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. And it gave you that rounded bottom. Look at that incremental higher highs and higher lows. And you could see the selling here. You could see that sellers were overwhelming buyers. How do I know that? Just by looking at candles. They're not the level 2. Well, they're all topping tail. They're all topping tails. So that means sellers keep pushing the buyers down. That is obviously until that changed over here. It's not going to be static and last forever. So you can see that the sellers were in control here, but the buyers started taking over just by looking at the shape of the candle. So LU1R certainly in play, but look to get it off a moving average. To me, it's been awfully respectful of the 10 on the 5. That's where I'd look to get in. We're going to pack our patience. Oh, baby, though. Here comes RKLB right back into that 10 and a 5th. I like this trade, but there's a seller here, as there has been at literally every 10 penny level. 10, I had to wait. 10.10, I had to wait. And now 10.20, it looks like I'm going to wait again. So lots going on here in small cap gapper world today.
Awesome. So someone in the chat said MSTR. So we're going to look at that. So MSTR right now, it's between this 167.72 as well as this 178.42. So I was looking at the ATR for MSTR, and it's around 10.26. So it is approaching, you know, that ATR high. So I would be wary of that if you are looking for the long. The fact that it is above VWAP, I do like that. But I would say that right here, at this 174.49 would be a pivotal point to see, you know, if we hold that and go above VWAP and stay above VWAP. But I don't think for the day, at least for a day trade, we have much room to go further than 178.20. So that is my look on that. And then Tesla on the side here. We were wrong about Tesla. Damn, me and Sean. But you know what? It is what it is. But it is looking like a nice long, setting up nice here. It is hitting, you know, this range high. But it looks like it's consolidating and continuing higher and higher. So I'm thinking, you know, a profit target 259.27, looking pretty good, looking pretty clean. So I'm looking at that as well. Let's look at a higher time frame. Yeah, I would say even if you're giving it a good amount of room, I would say a good amount of room would be below this 256.40 mark. Below VWAP, I would say 256.20 would be nice. I think that if it goes below there, then, you know, this trade could be wrong, at least in the short term. But I think, you know, for the day, Tesla is looking pretty nice, pretty clean, pretty great. What else are you guys looking at here? Palantir, next stop, 37.18. Let's look at Palantir.
Monster ever since been added to the S&P. Yes. Even before that, it was getting the pump, the pre-ad pump.
Yes, so let's look at that. I like the fact that it hits this wick at 36.59, and it's just a strong wick up. But I think that that would be a pivotal level to see where we go from here, this to 36.57. But I would say if we get more let me look at the book. Let's see what this is looking like. Palantir and why. So yeah, I'm seeing some green action there, looking like some nice selling, you know, 100 of size on the book. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I would say, yeah, Palantir looking pretty great. Google as well. Let's go to Google. Google looking. I don't like that too much. But then again, it is approaching this pre-market high. So I could say that this pre-market high may be a point where it comes down, maybe does this and goes up a little bit, just to draw like a little, you know, reference. But I think that this 163.37 will be a pivotal point to determine, you know, where Google might go. But I think it could hold this 163.37 because I find a lot of the time that when it does retrace, it usually retraces back to the pre-market highs. And so that's what I would be looking at on Google.
Fantastic. I'm trying to take a mean reversion trade here on Apple because it's bouncing off the closing print on Friday. I should have got the print. at 56s, but it looks like I went unfilled there as it didn't cross. So we'll see if this one holds. I mean, that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to scalp 10 pennies. We're trying to take a bit of a nicer move, possibly back into the whole dollar at 28s. But we'll scalp on the way, right? And that's the thing. So like to de-risk a little bit. We've been dancing with the 50 penny level here. The future's at lows, but I like this level on Apple simply because it is the closing print from yesterday. Seller at 55 again. Look at this. Look at this. Preventing. There we go. Now we get to fill nicely in the money. 20 pennies, 25 pennies in the money now on the dead one Apple. I'd like something in and around maybe 228s. Maybe I'm being a little bit ambitious here, but look, we've got a hammer candle on the 5. I like the fact that it's bouncing off the closing print. So let's go and hang out, man. In 88s. Call me crazy. Maybe I'm too ambitious. Chilean Nightmare called me crazy. He took me up on the offer. That's all right. So we'll look cuckoo, he says, but we're gonna hold this one. Maybe we get 88s. Maybe you know, we get a little bit lucky today with this one. Here we go into the 70s. Okay, nice, but some selling coming in there to be expected. There is a bit of a base. Now, what I'm seeing here on the 5 is there is a bit of a base. I don't want to call it too much of a base, but there was some action over here at 70 pennies. We bounce off 70. We bounce off 70. We bounce and then we flush. So if that's the case, there's probably going to be a little bit of resistance here at 70 pennies, but I'm going to pack my patience there. The other trade that I've got on right now, knocking on the door of my exit. Again, I told you RKLB likely has a seller at every dang 10 penny level. I had issues with 10. I had issues with 1010. I'm having issues with 1020. I'm sitting on the other side of 1020. I'm sitting at the $0.25. So, you know, we're going to have to see what happens here. So keeping my eye on there. Apple right back down into that $0.50. I'm going to move up my stop. Goes without saying now that I've wet my beak on some profits. Likely going to move it up a skosh to account for the little pump there. But, you know, I don't want to paper hand this trade because I know it can be a 2 or 3 candle pattern here where we come off that, that closing print on Friday and then move back up. We'll see. The future's at lows though. I mean, I'm not being assisted whatsoever right now by the NQ. Whatsoever. So we're going to pack our patience here, see if we can bounce off this level. Otherwise, you know, we're going to stay profitable on it because we already took the majority of the position out. But that's the look right now. Apple at an area of support being yesterday's closing print, 227, I believe 53 is the actual print there. So let's pack our patience, see what we got. We're rejecting off 20 again on RKLB. Nothing to report about there. People are talking about Tesla, as well as they should be, man. Tesla, as I mentioned, looking like it is far and away the strongest Mag 7 name on the day, and we continue to run up in Tesla. Couple of reasons. One, we obviously know the October 10th robo-taxi day very, very soon. In addition to that, we got Q3 deliveries probably going to be reported very soon. I believe it is at the end of this month, maybe early next month. That's going to be important, both on this side of the world and in China. Obviously, weak demand likely here or weaker demand for electric vehicles as a result of rates being high and inflation, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, obviously early adopters have already bought the vehicles that they wanted, the electric vehicles. So now we're going to have to convince everybody else to get on board. That's number one. Number two, China, even though they love electric vehicles over there, demand issues with respect to consumer buying power. That's obviously being alleviated somewhat by the Chinese government through their stimulus measures there. So packing my patience on this trade, but it looks now that RKLB is rejecting 20. It is still putting higher lows. As you can see, I'm looking at DCAing or was looking at DCAing at that 988. That is no longer valid because that level is previously based on the volume weighted average price. The volume weighted average price is a dynamic indicator. It's not static, so it moves as should your orders that are based upon it, right? So that's a look there. Apple, go dead one. Just give me 20 more pennies, baby. I want 88s. Let's go. Shout out to CD Lamb. Shout out to Des Bryant. Shout out to Michael Irvin and everybody else who wore 88. Shout out to the Cowboys for winning yesterday. Neil's not here, so nobody's gonna counter me on that. They won. Hey, a dub's a dub. New York or not, Daniel Jones or not, a dub is a dub, especially with the way the boys been playing. Anyway, Apple looking at resistance here at 70. I mentioned this earlier, and we're getting it again. 69 showing up here on the ask. We're unable to ascend over 70 so far. It is now flat on the day, up 0.07, which is flat. I'm looking at 88s, but the market doesn't care about what I'm looking at, Satea, because there's clearly an area low over here that has decided that it wants to act as resistance now that we're at it. So I'm going to have to pack my patience. What are you looking at?
So I am looking at CCJ because that was called out in the chat.
Hey.
So it is looking a little bit bearish as of today, at least, you know, as of today. So if I look on the 1 minute chart, so we are at VWAP right now, or breaking below VWAP right now at 47.97. So it came up here, 48.16, rejected, you know, came up a little bit above VWAP, but then it's breaking down. The fact that it's just in this downtrend, I don't really like that. Volume's not really coming in. Just look at the small candles, like not too much volume going on there. And it also is a Friday, so I find like on Fridays typically this is usually a sell-off. People want to take their profits, they want to go to the club, they want to, you know, pop those bottles, you know. So, you know, I don't think that there's gonna be too much money going into the market today. But, you know, CCJ not looking too great right now. I would say it could bounce off this 47.72 because it is struggling, you know, to go down past that point. You know, at 10:30, it bounced off of that level. And then also at 11:20, it bounced out that level. So I would really look at that as well. But I would say in terms of an uptrend, you really want to see a break, you know, of this high at 48.65 or even this pre-market high at 48.89. But because we're in that range, not looking too great in terms of a day trade. And then another thing that we were looking at is Visa, because someone said Visa in the chat. So honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a good read on it. Like, I'm usually a morning momentum trader. So usually when we get past 11:30, I don't really know what time it is right now, but once we get past, oh, it's 12. So yeah, once we get past 11:30, I find that my read on things, you know, it's not as good as it could be, but I don't really have an opinion on this, to be honest. Don't want to lead you astray, so I'm just going to leave that there on on Visa, sorry. But Tesla, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that we got out of that long because look at it breaking that 259. Oh my gosh, it's at 259.12. I could definitely see it getting above this high, but you know, we have to see how it reacts. We have to see how it reacts at the 259.27. But if we could blast through that, oh my gosh, Tesla, I wish I was in you.
It's a rocket, man. It's gonna break through highs, Satea.
You think so?
Well, I think we're like right there, aren't we? 259.38.
Yeah,
I think we're like
approaching.
We're approaching. Yeah. So this one, well, otherwise going to be the gnarliest double top you guys have ever seen. Come on, do something. All right. I don't know. It's doing something, Fabian. It's at highs, man. What do you want from its life? So higher, says Fabian. All right. We're going to keep an eye here on the dead one. Apple just broke 75s. We're long 43s. I'm insisting on getting my out at 88s. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just Friday and I feel like doing that. All right, so we're packing our patience here with the $0.75. Oh, don't show me that, bro. You know where he's going, right? He's not here no more. Yeah, I don't like change. I'm not a change, I'm not a pro-change person. That's just not how I am. Maybe as I've gotten older, I've become like that. I don't remember being like that when I was a kid, but I don't like change around me. Anyway, yeah. One of our traders is leaving the floor, and I'm disappointed about it. Yeah, so that's a look there. So yeah, I'm gonna maintain my position in Apple. I know for certain that there has been selling at 70. Just because we breached a little bit and got above into that $0.75 doesn't mean that we've retaken the 70 level. So I am cognizant that we could reject here full well. But I did like this area for Apple, and I'm going to continue to stress that. This is the closing print from yesterday. Sometimes it ends up being a relevant level. Sometimes it doesn't. And that's what day trading is about, putting the odds in your favor the best you can and come what may, okay? So that's the look there. We're still printing. We're about 30 pennies in the money more, but I want to get 88s if that is possible. Now, this one is a bit of trouble. RKLB, but I have a plan. Why? Because I'm looking at entering. I've only got tiny amounts of shares left. I'm looking at entering at the volume weighted average price. I moved my resting profit taker to account for the dynamic movements in VWAP. VWAP moves up as the price moves up, obviously. So I had to move up my order. I am looking at adding into this position at the volume weighted average price. So that is what's going to be the case. And that's going to be the end of the trade on Apple as it prints 82s. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to continue to wait. And yeah, I'm happy with this trade here on AAPL. That's a nice 40, almost 40 penny winner there. Tesla, I did take out the dang top, baby. Double sevens now, HOD on TSLA. That's good luck. We're going to take off Zeker over here because it's boring me to death. Let's put TSLA, which trades on the NASDAQ. Now we're knocking the door of 260, Satea. So who's there? Fabian, you're killing it today, bro. You're in a good mood. I like it. We're breaking through the high of the day. We still are, though, below the $10 level at 260. Man, Tesla's a dang rocket. Love it, love it. And it can move completely counter market. It doesn't matter that the market's making lower lows and lower highs. Tesla does what it wants, baby. And it's at the highs right now. Let's be cognizant, though, that the IB high, the implied balance high, is essentially at 259 and a third. We're not that high above it, about 30 pennies or so above it right now. So we could double top. Remember our lesson on double tops? The peaks or the bottom or the double bottoms, the peaks and the troughs don't have to be completely at the same level. One can be higher than the other. Completely normal to see that with the price pattern. So let's keep an eye on Tesla. I'm not going to be quick to want to jump into a double top, certainly, but I'm cognizant of it being there. Kanye East, Sharif, do you guys have any war headlines hitting? Brother, I got to filter through the war headlines, okay? There's just so much. Look, a decision was made long ago not to talk politics or religion on the show unless it had to do with the current trade. So if it has something to do with the companies, we'll absolutely talk about it. Like, for example, Middle East belligerencies and oil and stuff like that. It goes hand in hand. But otherwise, we don't typically talk about politics. But I completely understand what you're saying. I know things are heating up over there. I know for a fact, sad, but that's just the way it is. So keep me updated if any of the headlines do affect, though, any of the names that we're trading. I know indirectly it's likely to affect all of them, right? Belligerency of the Middle East could have negative sentiment on the market in general. I get all that. But unless it's company or headline specific to a trading name, we typically try to stay away from it. Anything you're looking at?
Yeah, so I see a couple of things in the chat. So we're going to start off with Boeing. Has someone shouted that out? Boeing. Is it going up? I mean, I'm looking at this trend line, and I think that this 156.25 or this 155.82 will definitely be pivotal levels. I like the fact that, it's bouncing off of this trend line at 156.26 for the upside. But if it breaks it and loses that 156.26, then I think that it could come down to 155.85, and then that would be a pivotal level to see what we do there. So that is my look on that. Another person shouted out Plug, asking if I see Plug going to 250. I mean, the volume is not too amazing, and I was looking at the ATR, and the ATR is around 16 cents in a day, and it did go up. Yeah, and it did go up to 230, so it did do like 2 ATR. So I think that's pretty overstretched. I mean, I could see it going to 250. As of today, though, we really need to see that volume in order for more confirmation to see if we can go to that 250. I would say that if we, go to that 240, then, maybe then we'll see that push up to 250. But as of right now, we really need to see that push, and I'm not seeing that as of right now. Things could change. I was trying to look and see if there's any news on that, but I didn't see any news. So I would just look out for that. Look on the book if you have a level 2 and try to see if you could find some size there. Another look is AMD. So AMD. AMDizzle. Let's look on a higher time frame, looking at that 45. You see, it has this range between this 168.81 double top from, the pre-market high on Thursday, and then again on today. And so Now what we're really looking at is this range at this 164 level. I think that this would be a good pivotal level to see what we do. I don't really want to anticipate what it does because we want to see what it does at that level and let that determine how we're going to execute the trade. So I would say look at that level, that 164, because we do see this wick off of that 164 level. And I would say just wait for that and look and see what it does there. But just look on a higher time frame because it may give you some more indication as to what we're doing. It doesn't look, too bullish on the day. It rejected, had that double top, like I said, but we're just looking for more volume, and that's what I would look at there. So yeah, going on to CrowdStrike as well. Someone mentioned CrowdStrike. I don't like this range. This is exactly like one of the pictures that I was showing you if you tuned in earlier on the lesson. It's just in this range. It's at between this 280.49 as well as this 284.77. So I just don't like that. It's just, it's just barcoding, not really making a clear direction. If we go on a higher time frame, it's still within this range, and so it really needs to, it needs to make a decision. What is it going to do? Is it going to break this 284.74? Is it going to break this 280.46? I don't think that it could do either within the day. Yeah, do something, do something today. But I don't think, unless we get that volume, I don't see anything too crazy happening today.
All right, we're going to go from one hotline dropper over here to another hotline dropper over here. Guys, get ready for Neil's lesson of the day.
Welcome to your lesson of the day, and I'm going to talk about a concept that is something I've said probably every other day for the last half year or so, over/under. And sometimes we'll throw trading terms out there that I feel are pretty normal, that everyone's going to understand, all that stuff. But the over/under concept is maybe something that's not as obvious, and it's something that I feel like it might have been Luca, it could have been another trader that coined it, and I was like, oh, this is something I look at all the time as a support and resistance, but I've never really given it that moniker. And what it simply means is there's a price or a level that I am completely ambivalent. I could care less which direction it goes away from that price, but I like longs over it, and I like the shorts under it, especially when it comes to a trend. Right? So you're looking for multiple, if it's above that, you're looking for any kind of a trend buy. If it's underneath it, you're looking for any kind of a trend sell. So I want to start with SMCI, and then I'm going to get to ARM, that's the frustrating one here today. But I'm going to start with SMCI and kind of that idea and where you sort of come up with this. So SMCI was the big mover yesterday. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. It halted to the downside. DOJ is looking at them, all that good stuff. There was a recovery move. It was short sell restricted. You're going to see that it ended up making a bounce. But already the concept of where the key price is was a little bit obvious when you looked at where it closed. So right yesterday, it closed just above the 400 level at about 402. So you have 400 to 402 right in here. And it was resistance on the halts to the upside in terms of its recovery. So you already had a resistance to support level here at that 400. At the open, now if it's going to flush again, obviously a 400 break, probably could have taken it to the low of the day. Once it decided it wanted to go to the upside, that little over-under area, it's easy enough to say you could just be long through 400 SSR bounce and leave it at that. But why it should just be a continuation play is, hey, that's the key price level. They're buying it. What that's telling you is, hey, we've got our reverse, and the key price point from yesterday's trade, it's north of that. So we should be looking for long opportunities. And where you can come back to that is, well, if your over-under price is a close price, which is a common thing for an over-under. It's like a red-green. If it's going red to green, then I like the longs. If it's going green to red, I like the shorts. That then sets you up for other trades that aren't just, hey, I like 400, I missed it, I'm not trading SMCI today. Because above that, you had the next level up, which was resistance twice at $4.10. And when the market reversed in, all of a sudden, you've got yourself a bias because it's above 400, and you got two levels. If it gets to 400, great. But if it holds your 410, you've got one shot, you've got two shots. Now, this is a slight trend to the upside because obviously it's a bit range bound here, but allows you to stay on point by giving you a natural bias in the stock with which to trade from, and it can work in either direction. Another example here is going to be ARM this morning. Yay. An ARM at the $150 level. Now, the reason for this being the key price point is a little bit more nuanced. A, it fell like an absolute rock off this price at $150. So there's a level it fell like a rock. Then you resisted at the open. I come over to the daily chart, and on the daily chart, even though it's upward trending, see where the top has been right at that 150. It was a key level all the way back in July where it hung out, then dropped away from it. It was a key support level back in June. 150 has been a kind of a deal here in ARM. So the other way to look at that over-under level, at least for myself, if I have a bias on it, I'm usually going to say, hey, if your over-under level is inside of the pre-market range, then the best opportunity is going to be generally if it fails a breakout above. So if I like an over-under and it's inside of the range in the pre-market, I don't want to just punch long there because it needs to break it out and hold higher and trend in the other direction. Because the last thing you want is a failed breakout goes back underneath your price, because that's like the perfect setup. It fails the break of a high, gets back to your over-under area, and then your entry, and then it just flushes. Now, obviously got out of ARM too early. We went over that, but that's not really the point. The point is, when you've got it inside the range there, your key price level, it's primed to shake people out, right? Like it's inside of the pre-market range, that key price point. You know it's likely to shake people out. Let it shake people out or trap people long, then get into that trade to the downside. And you always want confluence for this. It could be the previous close price. It could be a key price the day before, and that lines up on the daily chart in the case of ARM. And I'll give you one more, Intel at the $24 level. And this is the example kind of like being in it both directions. So Intel, I mean, $24 lined up yesterday pretty simply. You can go to daily chart if you want to on this one on your own. But yesterday when everything flushed, Intel held 24 as resistance. Now, you want to go back the day before that, and it held 24 as resistance. So very clearly, you had resistance, and then early you had a breakout above it for longs into the high. When it lost, it's a consolidation underneath. So don't really do anything with it here until it breaks and consolidates under. So longs over that work, shorts under that work. Now, it's not always going to be this way. Sometimes you'll only be able to trade one direction. That's the example with SMCI, where it breaks above it, you're just looking trend above that level. Same thing with maybe an Alibaba today. Like if you had an over under 105, you're only looking at longs. In the case of Intel, when it loses it, you're looking short in the other direction off of that key over under level. But it really just comes down to support and resistance. But sometimes support and resistance, I don't care which one it is. I want to play off it in either direction, and you want to be willing to join the trend or reverse it for those very, very key levels. But I think the important thing is you've got to start with identifying the key price level. You know, and when one is screaming at you the day before because of the way the volatility was, have that as an anchor. If it's an important level, then you want to trade at that level. You want to see where it goes off of that level. You want to join the trend off of that level. That's why we bother putting in the work to find them in the first place. So the over-under, I talk about that concept every single day. There were multiple examples with it here. SMCI 400 over, certainly ARM 150 the under, and then Intel $24 in both directions here. You're able to grab wins, and then you're able to grab shorts that work to the downside. Lesson of the day, the over-under trade. Always key in on key prices, everybody.
Shout out to Adam DeLuce, man. I'm just going to give the dude a shout out right off the bat. The dude's watching us on the airplane, man. I mean, the dude is committed. Shout out to Adam Dang DeLuce. We can't wait to see you, brother. Yeah, killing it as always. I know he met up with the Katina Man when the Katina Man was in London. They had a good time there, so shout out. We're going to host you now on our turf, Adam. Shout out again. The main man, Adam DeLuce. All right, guys, a couple of good things to talk about here. Some good, some bad. Let's start with the bad. That's how I like to start. RKLB, I did add, as planned, at the volume-weighted average price. I missed my 88 fill, so I chased it into 92, and I got stopped out, okay? But this one is still not far below VWAP, so I'm keeping an eye on it. It's maintaining its spot on the side chart. It did put in a possible double top. We'll see. If it continues to sell off at VWAP, it's going to lose its spot. You know how I roll with these small cap gappers. No breakout trades if they are trading below VWAP. This one I'm proud of, though, okay? This is LUNR. I waited, I packed my dang patience until it came off that 9. It came into the volume weighted average price. I literally got bottom wick. I'm proud of this one. I've wet my beak here for some profits. I'm looking for a possible move back into the high end of the range. I'm thinking maybe high 80s, low 90s, 880s, 890s, in and around there. We'll see what we get, and we will not get upset. This one's putting up a good day, though, 9% and change there in Greensville. So we'll see if that trend wants to continue, Satya. I mean, I'll take it. But otherwise, we'll look to get stopped out if it does retrace down and break the volume weighted average price, because I want no smoke below that VWAP area. How's your trading going? Anything during the break?
No, didn't trade anything as of right now, just hands off. Don't really see anything that I like. I was looking at Tesla, but Tesla was rejecting off those highs. And so I don't know what to really think about that, to be honest. Let's just go here. So yeah, it's rejecting off those highs around this 259.88 level. And so, I don't know, to get in right now, I think that is a little bit risky. I think what I would like to do is retrace down to this 257.70 or maybe even VWAP at 257. I feel like that's a little bit safer for me. That's just more of my trade setup. If it does come down there, I'd love to grab that up as of right now. But I'd really want to see it holding this 258.60. If it can't hold that, then I don't think that the long is looking too great as of right now. Someone also said TMF in the chat. And so TMF. So I was looking at the ATR on Finviz for this, and the ATR was around $1.72. So my profit target, if we can go up there, is 59.72. That's so because we bounced off of that 58 level, so that is $1.72 in terms of ATR. I think that if we can blast through this 58.92, then I think that a good profit taking level would be 59.72 for that. So that is what I'm looking at in terms of TMF. What else? Watch Apple. So let's look and switch.
Keeping an eye on it. Yeah.
Apple. Apple, what are you doing? I mean, I don't really trade Apple too much, to be honest. Like, we have a love-hate relationship, so like it's just we don't get along too much. Some days, some not. But as of right now, I don't see. I mean, it is rejecting off of this 227.31. I mean, would I really call it a rejection? I kind of see this double bottom. Would you even call it a double bottom? This is on the 1 minute. I mean, I don't know. I'd really want to see what it does at this 227.30 level before I make any rash decisions as to whether it's going to go up or down from there. I would say look at that 227.30 as a pivotal level, or again at VWAP 228.49 to see whether that we can hold on that VWAP level and hopefully consolidate and go up from there. But as of right now, I don't really see a great look on this. I would want to see more volume in order to have like more confirmation in terms of that. So shout out to Apple, but me and Apple are beefing right now.
I like it. Telling it like it is.
Yeah, it is.
That's the way it is. Guys, there's some directional stuff here happening on Amazon, man. Amazon and Microsoft are awfully weak on the day. Obviously, percentage-wise, Amazon is the worst. Let me just NVIDIA is the worst. Almost 3% for NVIDIA. But when you compare the bottom right chart to the bottom left chart, I don't know. I mean, they're both below right now, the 10 exponential, but look how NVIDIA is able to weasel back into that yellow line, which is a 20 exponential. You haven't seen that from Amazon at all. It's been awfully, awfully directional off the jump. 191 and change is where we closed out yesterday. And that was the last time we saw that level today. That was literally the last time we saw it after the bell. We haven't even gotten above that. So it's been negatory land all day. Initially, we were doing the VWAP rejection dance, trying to pop above that white line on my chart, which is VWAP. That gave way right at 1045 there. That was the last time we even attempted to touch VWAP because it has been down and to the dang right. Finding its support right now, 187 and a third, trying to curl back up. But as you can see, We haven't even touched the 10 exponential quite yet. The only time where we even touched it after 10:45 was this double top. I don't want to call it a double top, but this 2 candle touch right there, 11:40, 11:45, and that was it. So if you want, I'm not saying that Amazon has more downside. Who knows? Not me. But it's about putting the odds more in your favor. I'm possibly looking at a 10 exponential on the 5 short on AMZN. That comes into about 188, maybe a little bit below 188. We'll have to see where the 10 exponential is hanging out at the time, if we even curl to get into the 10 exponential. That's not even guaranteed. So some bleeding today on the Amazonian. Neil, was there an Amazon headline that we were talking about today? Anthropic, that's it. So the deal, it got approved, right? That deal got approved? Yes, thank you, Neil. So it's actually a positive catalyst. So I don't know if this is even factoring in the price action today, but Anthropic, the cooperation, I don't know if they even bought them. I don't remember exactly. I have to look at the story over here, but the UK regulator allowing that to go through. And that's the thing about being a multinational company. You've got all the different countries' regulators that you have to deal with. And that makes it so difficult, right? Because you got to please everybody and they all have different laws. So it's a bit of a tougher look there, but getting the nod from the regulator out in the United Kingdom. So, I mean, obviously it's not buoying the stock in any way, shape, or form because it's down and to the right. So I'm keeping my eye on that. Meta, also, I'm trying to look for mega cap stocks here, some of the Mag 7s, because I've only traded Apple. Meta obviously has been a dang rocket ship. I cannot wait to see what these AR glasses are IRL. We'll have to wait for that, obviously, but from a price action perspective, Meta finding some support here at 565 or thereabouts. You could make the argument that I'm not going to say a double bottom, obviously, but there is price action support in and around that 565 area. Now, what's the look here? Am I taking it as a breakout trade? No. I want to see what it does when it reaches 2 different levels. One, the volume weighted average price. Where is that at? 567 and a third. That's my first level off which I want to possibly get short. Then, if that level doesn't hold up, we continue to move up through that level. Next level I'm looking at is 567. Oh, let's call it 568. Why? That's the closing print from yesterday. I love these predictable levels that I'll use over and over again, but I won't use it willy-nilly. Let's see if the stock is or the instrument is looking at rejecting or moving in the way that I'm theorizing, right? So that's what my friend Neil likes to say, getting it on the back end or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Let it prove to you that, yes, this is a support level, this is a resistance level, and then get in. You could choose to do that or you could choose to front run it. It's really up to you. That's what I'm looking at there. Amazon is coming back into the 10 exponential though. So now it's watch time. All right. We had a 2 candle retracement pattern with the bigger second candle than the first. Here we've got a 3 candle retracement pattern, all the while remaining below the 10 exponential on the 5. I'm very interested here on a short on Amazon at this level. I don't need to be first, but I'm alive to it, and I'm going to be looking to set up at Satea if it does reject. What's your look?
So I'm looking at this BABA. Someone said BABA in the chat. I like the fact that it's below this VWAP. I am risking above around 108.05 and 108.10. So if it breaks a higher above this VWAP, then I'm thinking to get out. But I'm hoping that, it could reject off of this VWAP and come down as of right now, because I could see that we are kind of in this downtrend. But let's just see here. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't really like this anymore, but we'll see. We'll keep the stop in where it is, and hopefully it doesn't break higher above that VWAP as of right now. Another person mentioned MU a couple of minutes before, and so MU, I'm looking at this as of right now. 108.16 looks like a level of resistance on the downtrend. I think that it could come up here. I think that's going to be a pivotal level in terms of whether we come back up or down, but I think it could come back up to this 108.13. But I think that right now MU is in a downtrend. If we could also look at the volume as well. So let's see what the volume is doing on Micron. So okay, it's near like the average volume. It's at 22 million, around 22 million right now. But I would say it's in a downtrend. Let's look on the 30-minute or 15-minute. Yeah, it's in this range on the 15-minute. Let's look on the 30-minute. Also within range on the 30-minute. Let's look on the hour. Yeah, I would say this is the range that I'm looking at. This range 108.17 and 107.05 to really dictate, you know, what are we going to do from here. But for the most part, I think that Micron is on a downtrend, and that's my look on there. What
I just
else?
wanted to do a quick thing here.
Yeah, do your thing.
Guys, we need you guys to help us with the afternoon segment. The afternoon rundown is literally nothing without user input. So get into that chat right now. Vote for your favorite tickers every day. The Katina Man, the Neil, they'll be looking at these ones for you on the afternoon rundown. If they traded it, they'll tell you how they traded. If they didn't, they'll tell you why or how they would have. You've already got people voting even without me asking, baby. I've already seen people in the chat voting already, but I didn't do my job, so I gotta do it now. But guys, get into that chat every day, exclamation point, then the word join, then hit that space bar. It's important. Then shift 4 for that dollar sign, baby, and then the ticker of your choice. If you want to see the small cap gappers or how they would have traded them, throw them in. There is plenty moving today. If you want to talk about the mega caps, well, they love the mega caps and the Mag 7 over there. Get into the chat, vote for your favorite mega cap on the day. The afternoon segment, literally, guys, is nothing without you. So there it is again. There's the prompt you're using, but make sure you're entering it correctly. Because if you're not entering it correctly, it will not register and you will not have your say. So make sure you are getting your say every day by getting into the chat and joining Satya and I, obviously, on how to trade. There we go. We're already getting out. Shout out to Mary S. Lyman, Michael Estrada, Junior Figueroa. We got Yoshi, Pitchbull, Luke, KFRY. All these people are voting. Get into the chat right now. Put your vote in for what you want every day, and the big kahunas will look at it for you. All right, I'm short Amazon over here, and it looks like I just got stopped out. Sucks to be me because it did breach 188, but I'm still interested on this trade. So I'm not gonna quickly look away from this one. I think I had my stop a little too close to that 188 level for $100 or almost a $200 name. So I'm packing my patience here. I'd like to be able to get short on this again. I'm gonna give this one a little bit more room. I am kind of bearish on these markets. You know, intraday until we see something else. I think we got a couple of Fed speakers too that could radically change how we do or how we trend on the market. So gonna see exactly what we get here. Where are we short? We're short 04s, okay? So that's the look there. And we'll look for a rejection, possibly get something in and around maybe 70, 75, something like that. I'm gonna be looking to get out if it does breach above the third of a dollar. So it's gonna have to maintain its level above a third, or below, excuse me, a third of a dollar. Otherwise, I want zero smoke from the Amazonian. So we're gonna put that in right now. We're gonna go 188, and then we'll look to cover all the way up into that level there. So we'll put the stop in place, come what may, baby. Let's look at the other trade that we've got on at the moment. We're nicely in the money on this one, not by much. Got bottom wick on this one so far at 63s, but it's having a lot of trouble, as you can see. I'm talking about Lunar, L-U-N-R, guys, sorry. Reascending above 75. And why is that? What's so interesting about 75? Well, look at this area trough over here that we used as support on our way into that double top to try to take 9, which we failed. So what does the textbook tell us? Textbook tells us once support gives way, sometimes, oftentimes, I don't know what the data, it acts as resistance. So that's exactly what's happening right now as we reascend into $0.75. And here we are again, 875, 876. Let's watch this reject. And you can tell it's a hidden seller. It's an iceberg. There's no size here. There we go. We took them out. So let's see if we can continue up here. Some selling coming in. So it looks like it's triggering some orders. All right, now nicely. We just weaseled up to 80s, printing 76s. Let's pack our patience with this one. See if we can print. Are we printing on the Amazon? The Amazon, I sound like Obi. Yes, we are printing on the Amazon, not by a lot though. Remember, we got stopped out, so we got to do a little bit better here. I'm looking at wetting my beak at 75s, and we're already printing 85s. We're short 04s, so I don't want to take anything out here. I think we can move down a little bit. And if we don't, then I'll lose. So that's the look there. So I'm waiting for a possible rejection of this 188 level, which also happens to coincide with the 10 exponential on the 5. But we shall see what we shall see. I love saying meaningless tautologies that don't mean anything. It just allows me to fill some time. We got 3 hours, Satya.
That's a lot of time. A lot of talking.
I love how you just you're like, yeah. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna humor you. I'll humor you. It's all right. No, seriously though, we gotta pay some bills. So allow me a moment over here just to get this one ready. Anything on your end while we set up over here?
Yes, for sure. So a lot of people saying NVIDIA in the chat. So you see, with NVIDIA, it looks like it is breaking this 121, but guys, we need to be cautious because we are still on a downtrend. I mean, on the 30-minute, it does look good. You know, we have these 1, 2, 3. We have these 3 green candles on the 30-minute, but we are still on a downtrend. I mean, I really want to look at this VWAP 121.70. I think that if we can blast through there, I think that would look good in terms of the long. But I also like to look at the QQQs in comparison to kind of see what it is doing as well, because I find that the QQQs sometimes follow NVIDIA, or NVIDIA follows the QQQs. Whatever way you want to go, but I think that I want to see the QQQs get above this 489.43, and then I would have more conviction in NVIDIA. But as of right now, I just feel like I would be taking a stab, not really waiting for confirmation, and I mean, these 3 candles, it's not enough confirmation for me. I like more volume. We are approaching, the later half of the day, and so I'm just a little bit cautious.
All right. Sorry, just because we have certain times we have to do it.
Sure.
All right, guys. Firefly Neurosciences is revolutionizing brain health by making its FDA-cleared brain network analytics, BNA for short, technology available to medical professionals in support of providing better outcome for patients with brain health disorders and illnesses like depression, dementia, anxiety, concussion, and ADHD. The company's proprietary technology is built on extensive research and the world's largest standardized database of over 17,000 patients across 12 disorders, including clinically normal people. Join us at Firefly Neurosciences, traded on the NASDAQ as AIFF, and be a part of the transformation to improving the lives of people suffering from brain health illnesses and disorders. Firefly Neurosciences, baby, igniting hope for patients. Can't stress how much I love that kind of stuff because it's a noble cause looking to cure these ailments. Shout out to them, doing the absolute most in a good way. Okay, it looks as if this market's curling back up here, and I am concerned. Meta's going. And NVIDIA is curling back up into the volume-weighted average price. The NQ December contract is, let me bring in the side charts, is above the 20 exponential. So, we're not really flying. We're still down 0.4, but I'm involved in a trade on the Amazon. And so I need to account for any market moves that pump this up because, well, I'm short. So we almost got a couple of beak wetters there in the mid-80s, but that isn't the move, from at least in my estimation so far. If we keep pumping like this, it might be a problem for me, but I don't think we're at the level where I have to be as concerned yet. In fact, I am still interested in adding more at this position depending on where it ends up going to. So that's a look there. Apple also curling into the volume-weighted average price, kind of almost at that 228 and a half. So that's a bit of an interesting look. We got a bit of an umbrella pattern on MSFT, as this one also curled in to the 10 exponential after doing a bottoming tail candle, this is a hammer candle. So this is a look there, but I still feel that Amazon is weak. Whether or not it gives a you-know-what about how I feel, an entirely different story. I'm in the trade. I'm going to execute the way I know best. I've already got my beak wetters. I've already got my stops, but I need to execute a little bit better here because I did not like the way that I got stopped out because the pattern is still the same. Nothing's changed since I got in and got stopped out. So we're doing well on it now, not by much, but looking for a down move into about that $0.75 area. That's still 20 pennies south of where we are right now. So going to keep an eye on that. There we go. We're still zigging and zagging at the whole dollar. What are you guys up to there? Bob S says, I'm still holding NVIDIA at $1.26. Triple bag says VIX kind of high. Brendo was telling me today to have a look at the VIX, and it was definitely subdued relative to where we've been at. Fernando's NVIDIA moving. You're absolutely right, Fernando. NVIDIA looking to curl back in, possibly into the volume weighted average price. We'll have to see. Michael M says, okay, shorties, ready to double down. I'm assuming you're talking to the shorts, I hope, right? But yeah, it can be used a couple of different ways there. So that's a look. Topping tail candle right now, guys, on META. It had a gnarly break of the volume weighted average price, and it also retook that 568 high 567s level. Reason that's relevant is because that's a closing print from yesterday. So we get that breach of VWAP. We get the breach on a closing basis, mind you, of the closing print from yesterday, but this is a candle of indecision right now, kind of an inverse hammer candle on META, maybe showing some selling coming in around this level. I'm not going to say no to that because I would love some market selling right now to bring down the Amazon position that I'm in at the moment, but I feel like I'm a little bit biased, you know, me wanting the market to go down. If you're short, sure, right? Gorev, SMCI breaking it seems, bull flag. Let's have a look at SPCE. Let's bring in the side charts. I do have SMCI on the side chart over here. Look, man, I think I'm not going to speak for Satea, but this is like a range. This is interesting right here. So the high comes in at around 421. Gorev, obviously, you see the wicks that breach that, but the closing prints all in around that 421. And then when you get to the south side, you get into about that 413 area generally. But one observation I can make is that we're putting incrementally higher lows, not by a whole lot, but a noticeable amount. We're also putting in, though, lower highs. So you have a bit of a compression pattern. The textbook says, look to the trend preceding the compression pattern for where it may or what the likelihood of it breaking out. So if we're up and then we get a compression pattern, usually we resolve in the direction of the previous trend, which is up. We'll see. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's just about putting the odds more in our favor. That's really all we're talking about here. So keeping an eye on that. Amazon dipping down into the low 90s there. So I'm still waiting 75s. We'll see. Here we go with 88s. If the market can flush, I think I get filled. I'm seeing some topping tail candles right now on the soft one. But, you know, look, maybe the sellers are exhausted at this point, and buyers may step in individually. But the market, you know, it's not really making any newer highs here. But I think I'm just going to pack my patience today. I think I want to stay at that 75 level instead of moving up my beak wetter and paper handing the trade, because God knows I do that enough. So.
Honestly, it happens. It happens a lot. As a trader, you know, it's what happens. You know, you can't do anything about that. Just adding on your point, though, in terms of SMCI, I really like the fact that, so if we go back to the 2-hour chart and we look back from Thursday, it's kind of breaking above this range. So like yesterday, it was at this 411.27 mark, and it's breaking through there. And I like the fact that it's consolidating the high at the top. So I definitely think that, I don't know, you know, how much volume we will get, but it does look like it's trickling up. I don't know if it will break this range at 424.18 today, but in terms of like a longer term trade, I definitely like the look on that as well. 4-hour, yeah, it's even looking good on the 4-hour as well. Like, just look at that, looking pretty nice. I think that, yeah, longer term, it's looking pretty decent. Tesla, break 260. Let's look at Tesla. Go back on a lower time frame. Tesla. I mean, Tesla it's struggling with that range. I mean, like, look at that. It's just from 12. See, when the new hour starts, I find typically that is really a good indication of like when the new setup is. So this, if we look on the hourly chart, like I think that by 1 or 2, when the new candlestick forms, I think that that might be a better, indication of where we might stop if we go forward there. I think getting in as of right now, especially, on the hourly chart while it's moving down is kind of risky, to be honest. I would wait for the next hour candlestick to form around 1, 2, or 3 and see if there is a bounce on the hourly chart from there. Ooh, a lot of talking. But yeah, so I think that that's my look on Tesla as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, we wet our beak on some profits there at 75 on AMZN. I'm now looking at 58. Kind of the reason why I'm choosing this random level is just to account for the area trough that we have originally at 40 pennies. I'd like to front run that trough knowing that buyers may step in ahead of that or at that level. So come what may, we're still below the 20 exponential on the 5-minute chart with respect to the futures, but there are signals from other Mag 7 names that the winds of change may be coming on this market. Let me show you. META gone green and holding above green. That's number 1. Goggles curling back up. It's already been the strongest monster on the day. Gave up a lot of it. We were talking about possible head and shoulders pattern. Shows how much I know. No, seriously, it's back right above the volume weighted average price and looking at weaseling back up. It's up 1.1. Look at the dead one Apple. It's up 1/3%. And it's also putting in a bunch of green candles here with a pattern looking to retrace into the volume weighted average price at around 228.5. So, if we get this market pump, I'm willing to bet you it pumps Amazon with it, and with that will trigger my stop. So I'm trying not to paper hand the trade. I like my level on Amazon, but the future and the rest of the Mag 7 are going to have to cooperate. If they don't, well, I may get stopped out. Look at the soft one over here. The soft one doing kind of the same thing as the Amazonian. Right, getting into that 10 exponential and give me that rounded top. What's that rounded top for the newer traders? Lower highs and lower lows. After making higher highs and higher lows, we kind of curl. Instead of having that V-shaped pattern, we kind of have a U-shape a little bit. I'm sorry to use my hands so much, but what can I do? I can make a TikTok dance. It's like, yeah. No, you're never ever going to catch me doing that. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Favorite social media platform, be real?
Instagram,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, TikTok, I feel like you have better reach, to be honest. Like, you could find a lot of people on there and randomly, I feel like it listens to you sometimes. Like,
TikTok?
If you say certain things, then it will pop up on my feed. Like, I remember I was like, I want to start healthy eating. And so, all these foods started popping up on my page.
No
and I'm like,
way.
this is super
Terrifying.
weird.
Terrifying.
Yeah, they're definitely listening. So, I don't know. I gotta turn my phone off right there.
What if it's not listening, but... Ram, you're taking me down a rabbit hole. She's like, what if you're thinking it because of the patterns you're seeing in the video? You know what I mean? So she's like, okay, so you saw a bunch of different healthy eating foods.
Yeah.
That got you thinking about healthy eating. So then you start thinking about it, but then you start seeing the videos, but you already saw them anyway.
No, but
that didn't happen,
No,
did it?
I was watching, I know.
Ram, you're wrong.
I said it. I wasn't even, because usually my TikTok feed is more of day trading, just just looking at day trading stuff. And so when healthy food and stuff came, I was just like, this is a different algorithm that I'm not really used to. And so I definitely knew I was listening, or even just random stuff, going to the gym clothes, random stuff like that. I know, I don't know if you've seen any of those TikTok videos where they'll be wedding rings, like a girlfriend will be wedding rings to their boyfriend's phone. You never
That's
seen
hilarious.
That before? Yeah.
That's hilarious because they try to, that's hilarious.
Exactly.
No
so
way.
If you have a girlfriend, if you see that on your phone, she might have been whispering a little bit to that phone.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. I had a question to follow up, but that just took me off my train of thought right there. It'll come back to me in a second. But guys, that's funny. My goodness. All right, we're still curling down on the Amazonian, man. We are finding a little support here, to be honest, though, in the low 60s. I'm still waiting mid 55s, but we keep getting this wave of buying on the Mag 7, and that's preventing me from going any lower. As I say that, we do go a little bit lower, so maybe we can go low a little bit more. I'm not asking for much, Amazon. I'm really not. So let's weasel down a little bit over here, and I will be happy. Keeping my eye on this. Keeping my... You guys send me too much stuff, John. Get this. My girlfriend and I swapped phones for a few hours. and I just kept saying football, soccer, basketball at her phone. Then she got all sports TikToks, and she does not look at sports. John,
You see?
I don't disagree with you. Oh, and here's what I was going to say. So I got my parents live up in Markham, so I got them like a Google Nest, the Google Home thing.
Okay.
All right? And every time I go up on the weekend just to hang out with the rest, I find it disconnected into the kitchen. All right?
Oh, they didn't disconnect
They disconnected. And then I go to my old man, I'm like, why is it disconnected, right? He's like, it's listening to me.
See, he's on to that.
Yes. No, but the thing is, like sometimes like you'll use you'll say a word similar to Google and it'll activate.
Yeah.
You'll be like, hey, whatever, I don't want to activate everybody's phones because you could do that.
Yeah.
But it'll activate and it'll be like at 5, he's an early bird, right? So it'll get like 5 in the morning, it'll scare him like half to death, right? So every weekend I go, that thing is disconnected. I think it's the funniest jokes ever, but.
Yeah, I don't think that was the best gift for him because
No, but I
he's
didn't
skeptical
know.
about it.
I didn't know how he felt. It was after that. You know what I mean?
That is fair. I mean, I feel like the same thing, like Satya and Siri, like sometimes someone will be like, hey, Satya, and then my Siri will activate, and I'm like, they weren't talking to
I know, right?
Satya, not Siri. Come on, man. Like,
That's hilarious. Yeah. That you should do a little bit better. Ram is like, why don't you prank your old man? The guy, he's got a heart condition, Ram. Calm down over there. No, I'm just joking. I don't want to get it all bleak. I'm just joking. She is obviously joking as well, but I will probably do that now that she's put the idea in my head. So. Let her help. Yes, I would love to get your ideas because you're so sinister, Ram. I mean, what kind of individual would I be if I didn't consult you for that kind of thing, right? So shout out to Ram. Killing it on the ones and twos. Beanie, can you please look at IONQ? Yes, absolutely. You ask and I oblige. IONQ is in a second over here. Shout out to the Katina man who's returned with the food. How's the shrimp, Katina man? So good. All right, let's have a look over here. IONQ, yeah, it's doing a bit of a dance here. Let's load up the deets on this one. All right, $2 billion market cap. It's done about 33 million shares on the day. Does it have the headline? Why are we moving up? Here it is. IONQ shares are trading higher on Friday after the company signed a $54.5 million contract with the U.S. Air Force Research Lab. Oh, more belligerencies. Fantastic. Now entering the third year of a substantial commercial revenue, IONQ has achieved nearly 100% compound. Okay, we're not going to read the entire thing, but it is obviously a good move. This one started out its life far early on, about 5 a.m., and it's been awfully respectful of the 50 exponential on the 5. It hasn't got in there too many times, but there you go. The IB low takes us, right into that 50. Here, we do a bit of a dance at the 50, about 9 1/3, 9 1/4 there, and then we break above VWAP again. I got to tell you, though, Beanie, that the volume is dropping off a little bit on this one, and we're not getting that kind of same move anymore. But keep me posted about this one, because if it does that VWAP hold high of daybreak pattern that I talk about a lot, I think this one will be quite good. So we'll pack our patience to look there. We're still in Amazon at the moment, and I'm liking this trade less and less and less as the market shows me its propensity to want to maintain the highs. I live in fear of paper handing trades. And I don't want, nightmare. I don't want to take this out if we can actually trigger 20 pennies lower. So I'm trying to see exactly what the future's up to over here and what the other Mag 7 names are doing. Are they going to bleed? Because I think if the Mag 7's other Mag 7 names bleed as well, the future, we can get that low here on the Amazon. So we're not getting it yet. We're nicely in the money, but we want more. Quite frankly, because I already got stopped out on it once, so I got to do a little bit better this time around. So packing my patience here, Satya, looking for that 55 fill, but it's eluding me right now.
Damn. So I am looking at Hood because someone mentioned Hood in the chat. This is, oh my gosh, like I wish that this was on one of my scanners. I don't know exactly what the news is on this, but this is blasting off. From 22.74, it was just take off to the moon. And so now we'd want to see, okay, like what is our take profit here? So dating back to, Thursday at least, we want to see like a local time frame of where we may take profits. So we may see some resistance here at 23.81 to 24.07. But I believe that, if we could blast through that, this is looking really nice. on hood. So that looks really good. Coin as well for my crypto lovers. It broke that high at 185.96, and that looks good. So I already did like the $10 ATR move. And so, damn, like I thought that, you know, it could have retraced from there because usually I like to take profits around the ATR, but it doesn't look like it's letting up. It's just going up, it's moving, it's blasting off. 190, I could see it going to 195, maybe not today, but definitely getting to that $190, $200 mark for sure. That looks amazing. Let's look on the higher time frame. Wow. Yeah, it broke through this range here. When was this? This was on Tuesday, September 3rd. And so I think that is a good level. Like, look at that. I feel like as long as we could hold that 178.26, we are looking great to the upside. It's doing this rounded bottom here. I really like that. It's just, you know, look at that. Doing that kind of action.
Dang, Michael must be very proud of that drawing.
Yes, and so I definitely think that it could range up there. So Coinbase looking really good as of right now. What else are we looking at? Peep Ethereum by MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy.
Yeah, MSTR.
Oh, MSTR, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are breaking above those highs. Oh, why do I have that line there? Delete. So yeah, it's breaking through this high here at 178.35, and we're currently at 179, looking pretty good there. Where are we gonna stop? Where are we gonna go? That is really the question here. If we look back to Monday, dating back from July, okay, that's pretty far back. We stopped around this 185 level. So I definitely think that that could be a take profit level as well, see what we do there. But MSTR is looking really good right now. Neo breaking out. Neo, ooh. Like, sexy love. Like,
Get it, girl. Get it, girl.
I don't think you meant that.
Yeah, there you go.
But like,
That's a sick song too, bro. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's looking like it's breaking through this high, 665. That looks really good as of right now. Didn't break through VWAP at all. Broke through this pre-market high. I really like that on Neo as well. And you know what? We have that catalyst, you know, with the China and the interest rates. And so I definitely think that Neo is looking really good. Doesn't look like it's letting up. Neo, good luck on that.
Oh. No, I thought. Yeah, exactly.
Neo,
yeah.
Yes. Tesla long. Tesla breaking out. Tesla. What is Tesla doing? Tesla. I mean, you guys. Yes. I definitely like this 257.85. The fact that it had that bottom there. I would risk off of that just because, you know, we are approaching those highs. I wouldn't hold it down to VWAP. That's a little bit too much room. I would say 20s, 257.85, breaking through those highs. Tesla looking really good right now. I really like that. VWAP reject. I don't know what they meant on that. But yeah, Tesla looking good as of right now. Oh, Google is that what you meant? Okay, Google. Yes, Google, it's VWAP rejecting, but one thing I don't like, that it doesn't seem like it's pushing it down too hard. I mean, at this 163.90, it rejected. I would like to see what it does at this 163.90. I wouldn't just get in. I feel like that is just, you know, jumping the gun right there. But yeah, look what it does at 163.90 and see what it does from there. MU through VWAP. Let's go back to MU.
Micron, oh baby.
Oh, Micron. I like it. But the thing is, I want to see it break that VWAP first. If we could have, you know, strong conviction, 109, you know, 109.50, I really like that. But the thing is, it could reject from here, so I definitely want to see what it does at that VWAP level. SMCI.
We got to shout out somebody.
Yeah.
Hey, Google, remind me to watch Trader TV on Monday morning. Hey, what's up, Hey Google? His name is Hey Google.
Oh.
I mean, it's not my fault. I wasn't trying to activate nobody's phones, right? Look, did Brendo's phone activate? Aw, Brendo, you could have lied to me at least. It doesn't like me, says Brendo. It's averse to me. Oh. Yeah, it's Gemini. Everybody knows my aversion for Gemini Katina. I mean, I complained about it enough on the show. Shout out to Hey Google. I thought that was quite witty, and you deserve a shout out. So shout out to my man. You activated my assistant. Yes, Pitchbull. That's what I was going for, baby. It's Friday. We're having a good time. Guys, I reloaded on LUNR. It got back into the volume weighted average price. I added at 64s. Initially, I had added at 63s. We wet our beak nicely on some profits there. Alas, it did go up into 80s, and it did reject. So I'm looking at wetting my beak possibly at 72. It's kind of the same area where I got in last time. This is going to have to hold, though, above that 50 penny area. I'm quite proud of what I did with Amazon. I didn't get the exact print that I wanted, but I was alive to the winds of change that are coming on this these markets here. And the future is back above the 20 exponential. And look at this, Meta, Microsoft have started curling. Tesla was already strong. And now the future is back above that 20 exponential on the 5. I don't want to, trade micro with these Mag 7 names because that's not the move. You get cut up that way. But I kept seeing a floor here in the low 60s on AMZN with the future curling up, with the Mag 7 curling up. So I was like, get out, low 60s, take the profits. That's a 40 some odd penny winner. Not bad, not the best, but we'll take that and hope to do a little bit better next time. Now, this is a problem. LUNR coming back into VWAP here after popping into 70s. It's gonna have to hold this area. This is a small cap gapper, guys. Can't trade this like the Mag 7. It's around for a good time, not a long time. If the bottom goes through, you're not gonna see me DCAing below VWAP here. Not on this name. Certainly not on this name. Monty G, $4.99 super chat. Shout out to the Monty for the pineapple pizza Friday fun. Where's he at? Oh, he's not here. Well, so we'll have to troll him when he gets back. Because remember, I don't know if you were around at the time.
Okay, what's the story?
The story is, do you know the Sally Up, Sally Down challenge?
No.
It's like a song. It goes, bring Sally up, bring Sally down. All you're really supposed to do, you're supposed to do exercise for that. So you
Okay.
could do push-ups, you could do squats. Every time he says Sally up, you go up. Every time he
Okay.
says Sally down, you go down. Simple,
Okay.
right?
Interesting.
So Neil, I don't know how this ended up being, but if I could get the Sally Up, Sally Down challenge done, he'd have to eat pineapple pizza.
He doesn't like pineapple pizza?
No.
I did not know.
Yes.
I
Oh.
love pineapple pizza. That's sweet and salty. Ooh.
He does not like, he likes pineapples.
Oh.
He just doesn't think they belong on pizza.
You know, that's the crazy thing is I'm actually allergic to pineapples.
No way.
But fake pineapples, like the ones that are in a can, I guess it's not fake, but the ones in a can I can eat. And so I think
So
that's
weird.
the ones that they use on
Probably.
Pizza, that's our pizza place in Canada.
Yeah.
But yeah.
9, 6, 7, 11.
Call pizza.
Hey, having a good time. Yeah, so he doesn't like that. So I'm surprised you don't know that about it.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So that's the look there. So yeah, we had to do that, and then Neil had to eat pineapple pizza, which was good because he doesn't like it, and that's fun. So that's the look there. Still in LUNR, guys. Still keeping my eye on this one. Very worried that this one breaches the volume weighted average price. The reason I say that I'm worried about it is because of the pattern that precedes it, right? So look at this. We have the area high over here. We come to test it over here, and then subsequently ram. Every high has been lower than its predecessor, so I'm not looking for a huge breakout trade, but I am looking for it to hold at the volume weighted average price. Say that again. Well, they should, because I say your name a lot. There's someone said in the chat, look at Roku, ram, and we're gonna do that. By the way, we always tease about how Roku makes money. I went to my cousin's practice over here, and he has a TV in his practice, and it's a Roku TV. And there's like an entire Roku channel. All it does is run ads all day. So these guys are like an advertising company now, essentially. Okay. Yeah, so people were asking, like, why is this company making money? Obviously, they're a device company. Device companies, we know what the margins are in device companies. Yeah. Like, they're small, right? Especially on TVs, when they're so subdued in price. And that's how they're generating money. We knew that, though, but I hadn't actually seen it live in living color, to actually see the ads.
Are they good ads? Like, what are the ads regarding?
It's not like a good ads, but they got some heavyweights advertising on there, like big companies.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
They're making their moves. They're making
Exactly.
their money. Don't hate on them.
No, I
They're
have
just
no
trying to make a
problem.
coin.
I have no problem. It's just when you're Roku, like you got to see this thing during the pandemic. Satay, look at this thing. Is this not the mother of all double tops? I should copy this and put it in the textbook.
That is textbook.
This is
Double
so
top.
bad. This thing was trading at $475 in the pandemic. I know people were locked at home. There was nothing to do, but it doesn't justify this valuation. No, this probably has to do more stimmy money than buyer exuberance. In any event, guys, we have been locked in a nice range here on Roku for a hot minute. We did reject the 200 exponential on the weekly here. It looks like over a 3-week basis. We did find a bit of a base at $50. We're up well over that now, 75 and change. Roku ain't my jam. I got to tell you the truth. Unless I see more like breaking above the, let's go over here. Well, okay, here's the daily. The daily gives a bit of a different look with certain support, not certain, but definitely an area of support in that mid-50s area. We break above, we make new highs. But look, guys, I mean, even locally, forget about the pandemic, the 400 double top. Even locally, we're still below 100, and 100 is definitely the ceiling. So, hey, you know, have at it. It's not my cup of tea. It's not something that I invest in personally. I just don't see enough risk to reward there for that. Still packing my patience with the LUNR, but we got a lesson. We didn't do the lesson at thing, so we can do it at 1 now. So we'll just do it twice today. But it's a big boy lesson. So guys, get your learning cap on right now because Satay is about to drop hotlines. Take your time setting up with that. I'll yap while you get that ready. Let's look quickly over here at the Mag 7. Yes, the winds of change are coming in on these markets. Meta is now breaking into 570 territory. The soft one is looking at breaking back into 430. The volume weighted average price a little bit above that. Apple now above the volume weighted average price. Tesla looking at testing highs again, Katina man. And now the December contract of the NQ has weaseled its way back into that 280 point area, which is the 50 exponential on the 5. Let's see what it does at 20,300. Why? 100 point area as well as the volume weighted average price. 20,210. I'm being passed the sticky note by the Katina man. He's asking me to read the NASDAQ dash. Look to bounce off $20,272 level for triple Qs. Shout out to the Dan Katina man, putting his mouth where his mouth is every day, putting those trades on. 80 handle winner on the future vis-a-vis the TQ. We're gonna shout out the Katina man. He's having a hell of a day. Shout out to him. Absolute rocket today. Satay, take it.
Awesome. So today we will be covering stock picking resources or trading resources. So today we will be covering
I saw it.
stock picking resources, identifying volatility / volatile stocks, picking the best day trading stocks, identifying unfavorable day trading environments, momentum trading tips. And that is what we're getting into today. So today, guys, I know that a lot of us, started off with investing, but we have to remember that investing and day trading are two separate things, and we need to have two different caps on when we are investing versus day trading. So unlike investing that is most concerned with long-term business fundamentals, day trading is mainly driven by news catalysts and volatility. So here's an example of a pretty low volatility stock. So here we have Dollarama. This is on the TSX market. So this average volume is around $602,000. And look at this chopping action. So a lot of the time when we are day trading, we don't want to see this chopping action on a longer time frame. So this was, I believe, like within like a 5-day or 7-day time frame. And so we don't really want to see that action. We want to see some longer wicks and candles. So that's what we're looking at. So, and then another example that we have is EBF. So EBF is also a low volatility example. This example is $108,000 in terms of volume. And so look at this action. Look at how the candles are very small, and a lot of them look like lines. So we don't want to see those small candles when we are looking at day trading stocks. So Next, so what is the best volume for stocks? Stocks over 1 million in volume is the most ideal that I like to look at. I find it's pretty consistent, so that is what I look at in terms of looking at volume. So a liquid stock examples. So when you're looking at day trading stocks, you want to make sure that the chart doesn't look like something like this. Being able to scan and just skim through stocks and look and see, okay, is this the right day trading environment for me? I mean, no, because look at these candlesticks. These candles are not even candles. They're just lines. And so when you see those lines, a lot of the time it's very liquid and not really a good day trading environment. And then so on this METU, we have the volume of 213,000, and so not too ideal. Again, we want to stick to over 1 million with those day trading stocks. So when we're looking at volume, I think Yahoo Finance is a really good tool in order to gauge, what the volume is. So you could use Yahoo Finance for news, identifying stocks with volume and volatility, identifying stocks that lack volume, and then you could also look at trending ticker lists. But we're going to focus here on looking at the volume. So I am just going to look at something here. So if we look at Micron, for example, you'd be able to look at the volume and the average volume. So the volume is for the day, so today, and you see that it's moving, and then the average volume is within, a given time frame, typically like a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and so that is how the average volume is typically calculated. So how can you gauge when a stock has low or high volume on the day? I went through that a little bit, but you're looking at the volume and the average volume. So what I'm looking for is identifying discrepancies between the volume and the average volume. So again, the volume is the current day's volume and the average volume is over a period of time. And so you want to make sure that you're looking at those discrepancies between the two. And if there's a big discrepancy, then you may know that this may not be the day that I should trade this stock. So that's what we're looking at in terms of that. So that is an example of low volume. So this is another example, specific example, Crocs. So with this example, this was trading 454,000 shares below the average volume, so it was 36.4% below the average volume. And so what does that look like? So we're going to get into that. So another thing is Banzai. So Banzai was 5,790% above the average volume. So we're going to also look at what that looks like from a visuals perspective. So looking at Crocs, this one was below 34% on the average volume. And so typically this is the choppy action that the volume looks like when it is below the average volume. So, not very ideal in terms of day trading. And then if we look at the BNZI average volume, well, this was 5,790% above the average volume. And so look, we could see definitely there's these bigger candles, and so we can definitely see a difference there. So you want to gauge, the percentage and the volume that is being done on the day. So another resource that I really like to use is Market Chameleon. I usually like to use this one in the morning. So typically I sit down on my desk, it's 9 a.m. I'm looking, what are the pre-market movers? So I go into my Market Chameleon here and you just scroll down, and then we have our most active stocks, we have our gainers, and then we also have our decliners. A lot of the time, me personally, I'm looking for mid cap to large caps, typically a stock, above $50 to $100. And so those are what I'm looking at. There is, some smaller caps, but I'll leave that more to Sharif. And so we have that there. And then we also have unusual options activity. I use that as well. I don't really know too much about options, but what I do use it for is just gauging volatility, and that is mainly what I'm using it for. So that is what I use it for. So I'm just clicking it on there just so you can see what it looks like. So we have NEO, we have BABA, we have PDD, we have MSTR, JD, Rocket Labs, Costco, Baidu, all these things. And so usually I'll look at those tickers, seeing what they're doing for the day, and gauge, if it's looking right for my setup. So I use that as, a watch list and, to give me some trading ideas. So that is what I use, the unusual options activity as well. And then we also have Benzinga. Benzinga, you could, it does the same thing as Market Chameleon, but this is just, it gives you a lot more options. And so we have SPY on there as well. I don't have the Pro, so go get the Pro, but you could see more options as well for unusual options activity. So that is a really good resource as well, guys. So another one that I like to use is investing.com. I find this is what I use most consistently. I like to do earnings plays. I find that there's a lot of volume and momentum there. So I use investing.com. So investing.com is useful for identifying stocks that may have increased volume due to the anticipation of the release of the earnings that take place either before or at the time of market open or after market close. So if we click here and we go on investing.com, you can see here, when a stock is releasing their earnings before market opens, or so it shows this little sun, or it could show after market close, and that is usually the little moon. So you could use that as a gauge to see when the earnings report will occur. And then it has like the daily, the yesterday, today, tomorrow, this week, and then you could also use the little calendar. So I find keeping up to date as to when the earnings are going to come out and using those as trade ideas, watch list ideas are definitely really useful for day trading as well, guys. So another thing that I really like to use is Finviz. I use Finviz a lot for the ATR and the public insider trading list. So going to the ATR, the average price variation within a given time period. So the ATR, you can look at the ATR on a minute time frame, 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 hour, daily, monthly, whatever you want to do. And so what I usually do here is I go to Finviz, I type in a ticker that I want to look at. So let's just do Micron. And so I scroll down here and we look at the ATR. The ATR on average is $4.82. So that is typically how much the stock will move within a given day. So that is what I like to look at. You could also use TradingView as well. So if we go down, maybe it'll show me this time. We'll use Mara, for example. We'll go down to Mara. And so you could look here. So it gives me a range. So on average, Mara moves 60 cents to around $3.55 on average within a day. So you guys could look at that and gauge, how much the stock is going to move so that you could look and see take profit targets or stop loss targets as well. So those are really nice resources as well, guys. And then I also use Finviz for public insider trading information. So what is that? So public insider trading information on Finviz shows trading transactions involving an affiliate of the company. So an example of this is a CEO, a director, a chairman, right? And so they're buying or selling a stock, which also includes, so it shows the name, the date, the number of shares, the transactions. So it's showing buy, sell, option exercises, and proposed sales. It shows the cost, the value, the number of shares total, and it also shows the official SEC form. So you guys can look at that on Finviz as well. I really like to use that to gauge, a watch list, a trading list, so that I could use that and gauge some volatility. So that is all. And so just to gauge everything that we talked about today, so overall, how do you identify suitable day trading stocks? So you want to look at the RVol, you want to look at the volume, you want to look at the ATR, you have scanners, we have news catalyst, earnings, volume over 1 million. I really cannot stress that enough. I feel like that is the easiest point that can stop you from getting in some hot water, deviating between the current versus the average volume, unusual options activity in order to gauge that volume as well, and then using indicators such as the RVol, the volume, and the ATR. And so that is, good stock picking resources, guys, and I hope you guys use them, and I hope that they're useful for you guys. So
Love it. Thank you very much for that, Satea, and I know that there's likely going to be questions in the chat, so if there are, please tag myself or Satea. Sometimes the best production team around, man. Sometimes they see the questions, they'll screenshot them, they'll send it to me. But, do your part and just tag myself. And now, I got to tell you that we're very close to that cutoff time between now and when the voting stops. 1:50 p.m., you got the opportunity to have the Katina Man, the Neil, look at the tickers as decided by you. But guys, only the top 5 make it on. So persuade, bully, do what you need to do with your friends there in the chat and use that exclamation point. Where man? Exclamation point, join, space, $, and the ticker of your choice. If you want to see the 80 handle winner for the Katina Man on the Fuge, vote QQQ or triple Qs, whatever. I mean, that's all the same, NQ, if you want to vote for that. So get into the chat right now. You want to hear about the Tesla short that he had this morning? Get into the chat right now. You want to hear about Neil's Intel trade? Get into the chat right now. Have your say every day on the afternoon rundown. That's why the big kahunas are here, man. They wouldn't be called the big kahunas if they weren't kahunaing up a storm there on the trades. So let me tell you about this trade real quick over here. LUNR Ram. It did break below the volume-weighted average price for a hot second. I was able to get some in here, wet my beak on some profits. I'm happy with this trade, but now I need to be concerned because now we're hovering at VWAP, and we've already breached it. Despite the fact that we reclaimed it pretty quick, I'm talking about VWAP on LUNR, I need to be cognizant of the umpteen amount of lower highs that we are putting, and so I don't want to overstay my welcome. We're 7 whole pennies in the money right now. It's an $8 name, so let's put everything in context. I'm looking at taking out some at the exact same area I took out some last time, to kind of front run that $0.75 area on LUNR. Decent day today for it. Nothing really to write home about there. There is a trade right now that I'm debating what I should do on it. Meta. Meta's been very strong. 565 base. Obviously breached that, but the closing print's around 565. Rockets up, not rockets, but moves up $5 to 570. Now it's retracing into the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, a level that I love for names that are trending and that are giving you a quick pullback from which to get in. But I don't want to be first to the party because Meta's a $500 name and it's spreada for a reason. We joke around and call it spreada because the spread is quite wide, sometimes 50 pennies or so. Now it's breaching the 10 exponential, although not by much. I don't want to guess that whether or not it's going to hold up at the 10 exponential on the day. Quite frankly, when I look back at it and I look at this base that we were making here on the, when we were negative on the day below that 568 level, look where we were bouncing off. We were kind of respecting the 20 more than we really were the 10. There wasn't a whole lot of respect for the 10, but as you can see it here, look at every single dang wick on the way down. Rejects off the 20. Okay, great. Does it do that same thing above the closing print? Because this was below. So is it the same algo, same trader that's trading it this way to the north side as they were trading it to the south side? I don't know. And we'll find out. 568 should be an interesting level because it's a whole dollar level, as well as very much near the closing print, as well as very much close to near the 20 exponential. Here we go. We're at 568, breached it by 6 pennies. Do we hold up here on the Zuck train? I don't know. We're breaching everything right now. Again, you don't need to be first with this name because it can give you dollars. So VWAP is obviously below that level at 567.5. I'm not going to guess with this thing, man. It's looking like it wants to break down. I'd rather just pack my patience and wait till it proves to me that it wants to rounded bottom and then possibly move into the top. Ram sending me, I think, some questions. Thank you, Ram. I appreciate that. Ramin. There we go. All right, so let's see over here. I'm trying to look for the questions for you.
For sure.
Yeah. Which ones was it, Ram? Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. How do you describe trading? How do you describe trading when you talk to friends and family? That's interesting because I can answer that one too, but I want to hear what you have to say about that.
How do I describe it?
Yeah.
Honestly,
that's actually interesting.
My mom describes it as like the squiggly lines. Like when I first got into trading, she's just like, you're into that squiggly lines. But I talk about it a lot, and so I just talk a lot about momentum trading, being patient. I talk a lot about psychology more so, maybe not so the fundamentals, because I want people to know, the true ins and outs of being a trader. And I said it's dedication. It's not a quick get-rich-quick scheme, because some people, they think, I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow, and that is not the reality. And so I like to tell people it is...
Katina Man shocked. What? He's shocked.
And so I tell people, it's a learning experience. You really have to be able to learn every single day. And, you know, you have to be a student within this game. And
Bang.
so definitely think that I just talk about that mainly. And I just say that if you are dedicated to learning, then you're gonna make a lot of money, because you're not gonna think that you know everything, because when you think you know everything, I feel like you have a very skewed outlook on trading. And so I
So
just
true.
think just being open, you know, to
So true.
various amount of information. That's why I love being on the day trading floor, because I learn something new every day. We have different styles of traders, and so I definitely think that just learning every single day is just the main thing in my training, trading psychology.
Fantastic. Any negative connotations with the fam? Did they know anything about it prior to that? Because my family didn't even know what it was. They're like, oh, nice colors. Right?
My mom thought that I started looking at these lines, and she's like, are you monitoring your heart rate? And I'm like, no, I'm a day trader. And she's like, what is that? And, you know, I try to explain, because I was doing crypto at the time. So I was just like, you know, I'm in, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum. She's just like, it sounds really sketchy. Just be careful. And so that was their outlook on that. Yeah, you know, it's a mom. She's just saying,
sure.
be careful. But I said, Mom, I could do it. I can handle it. I've done, you know,
Love
my
it.
research. And so, yeah, that's just
Good stuff.
That's
Good
their
stuff.
outlook
I
on
mean,
it.
like, yeah. Yeah, my parents, they get it, like, because they're invested in the market as well, but they don't day trade. You know what I mean? Like, they're in the market. But to them, all they do is they buy and they hold. And then
Yeah.
maybe once a quarter, they get something from their FA, their financial advisor, saying you're up, you're down. But they're like, what is this? Why are you, like, monitoring it every second? What is going on? Like,
Yeah,
but they were used to it, because I started this in the pandemic. So this is like 4 years deep into this now.
Did
you know?
your parents start, I guess, investing before you did?
Oh, far. Yeah, yeah. So my
Okay,
old
so
man.
they're the OGs of.
Yeah. Like, they've been in the market for years, but again, not actively.
Okay.
Somebody else is doing it
Passively.
for them.
Oh.
Can I tell you, like, don't even get me started about the FA that my old man used to have. He used to come over, or it was a woman, she would come over and she would, like, visit once a month or whatever, tell them how their portfolio is doing.
Okay.
And I'd be
Wow.
like, Dad, what's in the portfolio? I don't know.
Oh.
And we're in a low risk. I'm like, that'd be nice to know what's in your portfolio,
You didn't
brother.
break that down for them?
No, and I asked her, and she's like, oh, you know, our, well, they have, you know, what's that called? Those quants, and they have quants, they have fundamental analysts as well.
Okay.
They take care of everything. And all she does is show up, I guess, collect some sort of percentage from how well they did,
I
but
did
doesn't
not
know anything.
I didn't know that that was like a service that they offered, where they came to your house.
Yeah, I don't know if she's doing it like kind of like in her own little method.
Oh, okay.
But you know what I mean? Anyway, I've never been a fan of it. Like,
interesting.
Yeah. I just like my old man, you know, you like ask me. You could just go in, save the fees, directly invest in a
You're
company.
his son, though. He's not going to trust you. It
No,
doesn't matter how
that's
old
the
that you
thing.
get. They're never going to
I'm
trust you.
always an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm that guy who, you know, who pees his pants. You know what I mean? I'll
They
never.
saw those things, so they can't look past that, you know? Like, even with my grandpa sees me on the show, he sees what I'm doing, and he's always just like, can you make me, you know, $100 from $50? I'm like, yeah, Grandpa, I can do that. And he's just like, I don't know if you could do it. And I'm like, Grandpa.
Wow.
Grandpa.
Come on, man.
The proof is in the pudding, man. But I don't know. He'll just never get over the hump.
Yeah,
of me being in diapers, you know?
Legit. That's
Yeah.
what it is, right? And they're always going to look at us like that. All right, guys, I want to tell you about my trade on Lunar. I'm really, really, really proud of this trade, Ram, because I added at the areas where I liked, and I got my executions every dang time. So here we added to defend initially the volume weighted average price. We got a specialist breakdown over here where they push you out a few pennies. It really depends on the price of the stock. They get you out, and then it pumps back up. How do I know that? Look at it ex post facto, after the fact. We break that 64 penny level that we had been defending essentially all morning. But look how quickly we were able to retake that, and then we break the highs. That's the most important part. The fact that you breached that key area of technical support and then you broke the highs. To me, this screams specialist breakdown, and I was able to wet my beak at the highs so far at 80s. Very proud of this trade. It's not a big money maker, but it's about the execution. The execution was very sound here, so we're going to look to do it again on LUNR. Still definitely off the highs, well off the highs, okay? The highs was $9. Now we're really only in low 80s territory over here. So LUNR maintaining its position above the volume weighted average price, but for how long? Here's the look at the 5-minute chart. And what we can glean from this Ram is that we have lower highs incrementally. High, high, lower high, and then we kind of we didn't really get lower lows because this area low coincides with this area low over here. So we didn't technically get lower lows, but you guys can see the trend looks like it's losing steam. So I don't want to be around for too much longer on this one if it's going to give up the ghost. There isn't too much in the way of small caps right now that are moving big boy. Let's find out. Okay, I'm wrong. So there is one. UXIN has just shown up here as a big boy mover. Let's change this one, UXIN, and we're going to put that on there. Oh, baby, UXIN knocking on the door, $5, $4.99 high of day. But I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you about how I informally use the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart as a gauge for overbought and oversold conditions for these small cap gappers. Sure, you can use the RSI and you can use anything else like a momentum oscillator, but these moving averages also work as well informally. How do I use it? When you get far extended away from the 10 moving average, price action I'm talking about, the price action gets really extended away from that 10 exponential moving average on the 5, for small cap gappers, I'm not talking about anything else. I typically wait for a retracement. It doesn't have to touch the 10, but it's got to come a little bit closer to it. And then I wait for that rounding or that V-shaped recovery, however it's going to act at the time. Each one is a little different. So this one looking awfully good right now. UXDANGIN. Let's put some respect on this one's name. It's been showing up for multiple days. I do remember this ticker, and I'm going to give you the details on it in a hot second. It is not a small cap gapper. I stand corrected. It has a $904 million market cap, having traded 15.2 million shares on the day, and the float is zero, according to my platform. So, and I'm kidding, of course. Let's bring down trade ideas over here and look at UXIN Ram. And here we have a float of 3.32 million shares, so very small, but the short float, negligible, literally. 0.03% of the 3 1/3 million shares is being borrowed for short. So, you know, whether or not we get parabolic in an entirely different story. Yeah, so we'll see there. I got your message, Andre. Thank you. So that's a look. I'm going to wait for UXIN possibly to come into that 4.5, give or take. It doesn't have to touch the 10 exponential at 440. But if it holds up like this and then makes another 5-minute candle to make a new high and breaches 5, I'm going to get long with that squeeze because this could squeeze. It's not very small float, but it's smaller-ish. Okay, 3 some odd million shares. So this is looking good, and it's a midday mover. You know, it did obviously start off earlier on at 940. Didn't have much of a pre-market level, as we can kind of look there. But this is moving yesterday. It's been moving for a period of days. Look what it did on the, what day was that? That was the 23rd. So it's been moving. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on a retracement level into the 10 exponential. So much do I like this trade, I'm putting an alert for that $50 area so I can get notified in case I'm not looking at it. UXIN certainly in play right now. Zeker, I think it's the only red name that I have on the day. No, I'm marginally red on RKLB as well. My biggest loser though is ZK. And this is keeping me technically red on the day, despite that I have more winners than losers. But this one bamboozled me. This one though got in to 2050 and a beautiful bounce off the volume weighted average price. Doesn't breach at all. And you get a 2-candle hold. So you had ample amount of opportunity. 2-candle hold on the 5-minute, by the way. You had an ample opportunity to get in. I would say to you though, the lower highs are operative here and the lower lows as well. So just because we're bouncing off VWAP doesn't mean we're not making a downward channel, because we kind of are. All right? So let's see if this one can kind of find its footing by making new highs, because right now, we're not making new highs. We're holding above VWAP, but we're not making new highs. Why is this important to me? Because I want to exact revenge on this one. That's why. Okay, so if we start curling up off 21, I'm going to be looking to get in on this one, possibly over here. Another day, another great look for these Chinese ADRs. Here's a look right now, what they're looking at. Chinese ADRs watch list. Only 2 names are green. YY, which I don't even know. And then this one. What is this one? This one's called, this is Tencent. That's Tencent, but that's not Tencent in the one that you're thinking about. This is on the Jeff Mendel exchange there on the OTC. That's like Tencent, actual China Tencent, not the one that we have here. So a bit of a different one there. And that's the only one that's negative on the day. Every other one is positive. And these Chinese ADRs, some of them are in double-digit territory too. So that China trade continues to go. And by the way, Morgan Stanley today apparently releasing a bit of a comment on these ADRs. You know, make of it what you will. A lot of belief that, you know, they're pumping their own books, this, that, and the other. But Morgan Stanley are now quite bullish on China in the short to intermediate term. I mean, they had their best day since 2008 yesterday. Some of them are, you know, 1 year, 2 year highs. Alibaba, 1 year highs. And so we'll see. We'll see, man. I just don't want to rely on stimulus. That's my concern. You pump stimmies, we know what that does. We've seen it in North America 3 years ago, 4 years. So I have my concern about that. Lucian, Jivo's moving. You don't say. You don't say. Let's bring in a side chart over here. Have a look at our friend Jivo. Is it above a buck? We're about to find out. GEVO is the ticker, guys. Here it is. I don't know why it takes so long to load on this one. There's certain stocks that this one doesn't like. Mara is one of them, and I guess Jivo's the other. We'll load it up on the trading screen over here. Ram, GEVO. It's an NQ name from what I believe. Yes, it is above a buck. Okay, it's a buck and 2/3. Yeah, decent day for my friend Jivo over here. Let's put some respect on this one's name. 14 1/3%. You can see, though, it looks buyout-esque. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you probably haven't been on a prop firm before, because this is kind of what buyouts look like. They're just so thickly traded that, you know, this is what they end up looking at from a candlestick perspective over here on the chart. 14.5%, though. Thank you for that. Who was that mentioned it? M. Lucian. Mentioning Jivo. Scott Henderson, I think you're safe on Amazon. This is a wave 4. Oh my God, he's talking Elliott waves, baby. I love that. This is wave 4 that will end and smash down. Check previous down move. W call that wave 3. Check out Elliott wave for more. Dude, we did an entire week on Elliott waves. Baby, we check it out, Elliott waves. You're just joining us, Scott? No, I'm kidding, of course. We have newer viewers all the time. Love Elliott wave theory, sound theory. Yeah, we'll just leave it there. Jay Lee, CAPR. Also gained 25 cents since I mentioned it. Keep on moving. Jay, I looked it up, man. I did look at CAPR, but I'm not happy with the volume on the day on that. We traded it yesterday. We did well, but the volume on it is kind of bupkis today. What is the volume? What's going on with these charts, bruh? They're not loading. All right, we'll let that cook for a second. I'm sorry. Can't do anything about that. Are you looking at anything over there?
I was looking at NVIDIA, so I took like a small scalp. I am looking for the breakdown here. Breakdown, yes, at 120.35. So I got in around 120.36. I'm looking for the break below this 120 mark. But as of right now, it's just kind of consolidating. But I want to see a more of a leg down there to give me more confirmation. I definitely think that it could go, but just for my scalping strategy, I like to see it, you know, break down like absolutely immediately. And so that's why I got out as of right now. But if I see, you know, something on the tape around, you know, those 29s, then I'm thinking I could definitely re-enter here. So, ooh, it's looking good. It's looking pretty decent. So, yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna let that ride for a second and just look at something else. But I definitely am looking at NVIDIA for the breakdown because it's looking pretty good in terms of setting up there. So what else are you guys looking at in the chat? I am really interested to see RKLB hold. So RKLB, what is that doing? I mean, we have this hold here, yeah, at this mark here at 962. So I do like that. It looks like it could be a nice rounded bottom there. Definitely would like to see it hold there, but that looks really good for the long. In terms of NVIDIA, you know what? I'm going to go for this NVIDIA breakdown. This looks pretty nice to me right now. So I'm going to get in. Actually, no, it lost me. But it looks pretty good for the short, to be honest. I like this breakdown. So what I'm seeing here is I'm looking at this part, and I'm looking here at this 120.38. So I'm going to get rid of this line that I had here. And I like the fact that it's just not really coming up above this level. And I really like that for the breakdown as well. If we look down, yeah, like even on the 2-hour chart or even on the hourly chart, I like that it's breaking down. It wicked off of this 121.07. We have our new hourly chart candlestick happening in 20 minutes. So I would like to see, you know, what we do from there. But I mean, if we could break down here and, you know, stay below 120.18, then I definitely think that NVIDIA is on that short. It faked us out though at 121. A lot of people were saying NVIDIA is going to break out 121, but I definitely think it faked us out and we are on the downside, guys. So watch out for NVIDIA.
Oh boy.
What are your thoughts on altcoin level, Doge, and ETH specifically? So, I mean, I don't really trade Dogecoin, to be honest. I don't really like the meme coin space. I mean, a lot of the time, Dogecoin or like anything Ethereum related on the Ethereum blockchain is related to Ethereum anyways. So I use Ethereum as a leading indicator. I haven't really looked at Ethereum, you know, these days as of recently, but let's just take a quick look at that. So here, ETH USDT. So we have this wick here at 2,726 coming down here. I definitely think that we could retrace to this 2,648, call it 2,650, depending on what platform that you are using. I could definitely see like a bounce happening around there. Trying to get in for the long, I feel like is a little bit too early as of right now. Wait for that hold and go in at that 2,650. That looks really nice. NVIDIA, I see a long. I mean, I don't know what you're seeing. I'm seeing a breakdown, to be honest. Going back to NVIDIA, like here, see, we're at these, like nearing these lows, right? And so because we didn't bounce and break through this 121.20 level, I feel like that was a pivotal point to really go for the long. But right now we're approaching those days lows. And so I think that definitely NVIDIA for the breakdown. I should have held that long at 36s, to be honest. But you know what? It is what it is. And NVIDIA, I mean, I hope you guys print on that because NVIDIA is looking like a nice short as of right now. Drip down.
We're long meta here to take advantage of this VWAP dip. We're going to give this a try. I'm really unsure about this one because it's kind of, that's a bit of a falling knife there. I already got cut up on it a couple of times. We're going to see if this one wants to bounce back up. Meta's been strong. It's now negative 0.09%, trying off the volume weighted average price, but it's already breached it. It could be a specialist breakdown. Here we go again. If this breaks 567, that's going to be the end of the trade. The future is headed down, so I am worried now. So the future is headed down to 20,220. Technically, the low of the day is at 210. So we're awfully close to the low of the day, and in fact, we could breach the low of the day here. So kind of a tough look. You got a different look on Microsoft, which is actually coming back in to near highs at around the $0.50 level. So a little zig, a little zag here from some of these Mag 7 names. Where are we at with price? We're already 10 pennies out of the money on this name, but if it breaches 567, that's going to be the end of the story there. If it does retrace, I'd like something above 568.50. It's going to have to really retrace, but that's going to require a bigger market move. So we don't get it. We don't get it. That's just the way it is there. We still break even on it, or 7 cents out of the money right now. Oh, wow. It's really breaking down. Looks like it could break right now on the whole dollar level. That's where our stop is. But it's zigging and zagging, man. It just scared me half to death. Now we're in the money. So kind of maybe 2 bottoming tail candles here at 567. There's also this area support level for 567. Let me just zoom in a little bit. This area top over here. So we kept rejecting off 567 when we were down there, couldn't breach it. Can we hold it now? That's really going to be the question. Is that area going to flip from resistance to support? We'll find out, and we probably won't have to wait that long to find out. All right, moving up a little bit over here. Let's see if it can get back into 568. We'll wet our beak in front of 568. So I'm going to hang out over here. On that, we'll put the order there, and we'll come what may from that. Yeah, but it's still having trouble with it. So we'll pack our patience. What are you guys looking at right now? Throw it up in the chat. I got to remind you, 9 minutes left to vote for your favorite tickers If you want them covered by Neil and Sean, the big kahunas on the afternoon rundown, get into that chat right now. Use that prompt on your screen, exclamation point, join, space, $, and the ticker of your choice. No ticker is excluded from said list, baby. Whether small cap, gappers, mag 7s, we accept them all. The big kahunas trade them all as well. And so they'll be able to give you their look. If they traded it, they'll tell you how they traded it. If they didn't trade it, they'll tell you why or how they would have. So get into that chat right now. Every day, baby, we are doing this every Monday to Friday. Not every day, but Monday to Friday, we're doing the afternoon rundown. The viewer's choice. We could call it viewer's choice. But yeah, we call it the afternoon rundown, so it's all good there. Waiting at 588, we're printing 80s here on Meta. Looking if it can move back a little bit. Where am I long? I'm long 48s, so I'm not going to wet my beak here until it crosses the spread, though. Prohibitive spread on Meta. Nothing I didn't know before I got into it. It's not like I got conned into the stock or anything. I already knew it was called spreada. So we'll see if we can print on this one, but it's going to have to cross 88s by some distance for me to get the print there. Tesla on the way up, as I mentioned. Softy making a nice little move there to higher lows and higher highs for MSFT, and that's been the case since 12:10 today. Every single trough higher than its predecessor. Every single crest also higher than its predecessor. Let's see if this one can keep on running. Oh, we got the print on Meta. Okay, good. Nice. Now we're printing 94s. I'm still holding a piece. This is a bit of a bigger position for me because we got to get out of trouble because we got stopped on it twice. So let's see if we can run up a little bit more. I want to see 568.5. We had a bit of a shelf here for a period of, let's say, 20 minutes, half an hour at this 568.5. Excuse me, I said 567.5. I meant 568.5. So we'll see if we can, number one, weasel up above $568. And then if we can we work our way up into that $0.50, showing 90s right now on the level 2. Okay, showing 03s now on the level 2. The buyers are stepping in here on Meta. Well, there, we just flushed. So maybe I should shut up. There is the look there. The future, getting a little bit of a bounce. Not much. Not much. We're still below the 10 and the 20 exponential. We're still much closer to the lows, certainly than we are the highs, but not a bad look overall. I love it. I love how you guys got into the chat to vote, man. Yes, my man Barry, he wants to know about GM. Join GM. Brendo, what was the name of the SUV that MKHD reviewed? Silverado. Man, Barry, go and have a look at that new Silverado EV SUV. Dang. Very impressive. Huge range on that, like 400 some odd miles, almost 500 miles. Barry, he wants to talk about GM. Joe Paul wants to talk about AMD. What do you guys want to talk about? Let's see who else voted. The 2 Magic Mice 8 wants to talk about RKLB, one of the stocks I'm red on. Blaze Wavy wants to talk about Meta. I like him because we're long Meta. Let's see what else we got. Who else do we have over here? We got Grateful for Bitcoin. Are you surprised that they want to talk about Coinbase?
No, not at all.
Not surprised at all.
Off, no.
Right? So good look there, guys. Get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. The Neil, the Sean, they will cover. Go Meta. There we go, baby. We're almost $1 in the money here on the Zuck train. In fact, I'm going to put my beak wet right at $1, come what may. We wanted to defend that $0.50, or we want to take, that $0.50, showing 35s, Yeah, we're showing 35s here on the ask. I'm waiting at 48. Let's see if we can weasel up a little bit more. I'll take that print and I'll be happy with it. Here we go. 33s, some buying incoming again with Meta. You're likely going to have to cross your level by some distance to get the print. Zigging and zagging right now above that whole dollar. We'll hopefully get that print ASAP on the Zuck train. How you doing over there?
So I got in at NVIDIA again. So I got in at 120.14. So I'm waiting for that breakdown. I'm looking at 119.88 as my take profit. I really like the fact that, so if we just bring over my NVIDIA chart here. So this is what I'm looking at, just this downtrend here. I put my stop loss around 120.60 to 120.65, hoping that it doesn't get up there, because I feel like if it does get up there, then I'm pretty wrong on my trade. But as of right now, I'm liking the breakdown. Let's look more on a longer term time frame. I don't like the fact that it bounced off of this 120.14, but we're going to see how the trade plays out because I'm really working on just staying convicted in the trade. I'm pretty convicted in this trade, so you know what? I'm just going to hold it. If it hits my, my stop loss, then it is what it is. But today, I think I'm going to stay in the trade and see how this plays out because we have to stay convicted. That's how we're going to make the money. We don't just want to make, a couple dollars. We want to make the big bucks.
Hey.
The big bucks. Is this? I've never used this before. Wet that beak.
No.
Yes. Beak wetter. And, sorry, wrong one. Where's the bang?
Oh, I don't think she has the bang. I have it. I'll put it on your, yeah.
The bang bang, and I really want that. So I really want that money. And so I'm going to stay in this trade, and hopefully it works out the way I want it to. How about you, Sharif?
Good. I'm holding on here. We're printing the $0.25 on Meta. Now the third of a dollar. I'm waiting at 48s. I've been waiting. Let's see if we get the print. The 48 area is a bit of a top, so I'm taking a risk by putting my profit taker there. But here we go, 50s. Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Give me that print, baby. We're printing 50s on the ask, 28s on the bid, so it's going to have to cross. I'm not going to get the fill otherwise. Now the bid's moving up to 35. Now the ask is at 48. The bid's at 35. If it moves up a skosh more, I think I will get printed. And there it is, Satea. Yes. Yeah, did well on this one, but did poorly on it to start, so probably break even. Haven't looked at the blotter. But let me tell you about this one, okay? UXIN, guys. I'm quite frustrated. Why? Because look, I had my alert there. That's that yellow line that you guys see on the screen. The alert there was to alert me into that 4.5. I should have had it north side of 4.5, not the south side. I had it at 48s. Don't know why I did that. It got into that level and it gave you that $5 move again. I think this one got into 96s instead of 99s, potatoes, potato. But beautiful hold of the dang 10 exponential on the 5. And what a move back up here for UXIN. The reason I like it, the reason I like this above all others is look at the volume bars midday. I mean, the highest volume bar on the day is printed at 115. The second highest is at 105. So this one is getting its footing under it during the midday. That means it didn't have its best day or its best time of the day, either in the pre-market or in the opening range trade, or like, that initial, the initial 9:30 to 11-ish. No, this one got its footing where it had its best part of the day during the midday. Why is that important? Because you're still getting that buying volume, got that momentum volume. You don't have to play the ranges, the scalps, etc., all the different style of trades that we do when the volume drops off on these small cap gappers. So UXIN here, Ramram, what a fantastic look. Obviously, there is resistance at $5. That $4.99 has held up since we printed it at 115, but goodness, we're a lot closer to the highs than we are anything else. So let's see if we can break that. UXIN, excuse me, not LUNR. UXIN, absolutely beautiful look. All right. So for now, I did get top wick on Meta, and that's for now. The reason it looks like it's top wick, because we know that that $0.50 area is a bit of a shelf, a local shelf, that is. So we'll see if we can breach through it, but right now is a predictable area. Shout out to UJ Pomp the Meta, LOL, Pamp it. Shout out to the OGJ. I wonder, my man, did you trade Boyle today? Let me know how UNG's going, because the NOS boss, I don't know if you joined us this morning, Jay, but the NOS boss had more charts on UNG. He's still talking about that trade. So you let me know how you're doing with that. I know you love your Boyle. The NOS boss likes UNG as well. There goes Meta, guys. So it looks like I took it out too early. Breaking through here, Ram into that whole dollar level at 569. Nice. Breaking through that level. Fantastic day today. Not fantastic day today for Meta, but definitely one of the green ones. And it's been a fantastic week, and I would say a fantastic month for Meta. What's Meta up on the month? Let's do some charting here, baby. All right, let's bring in the side chart over here. Let's zoom in. So far, this is the monthly candle for September. Okay, let's take it from the low, and we'll take it to the high. Meta, from the low to the high. Doesn't mean it's up at this point right now, but up about 17% in September from the low wick to the high wick, not open to close. Low wick to high wick, which is essentially $500 we defended. And I think the high is 580 to the dot. So fantastic month for Meta, and this is the monthly chart for Meta. Yes, you're not looking at this wrong. This was $88. Yes, yes, in November of 2022. So since that time, Satya, Meta is up, not that much, 550%. It's not that much.
Something measly.
Yeah, light 550. So that's a look there on Meta. Good look for it. Tesla, though, guys, Meta, I've been yapping about that, but Tesla is the real deal in terms of percentage up on the day, and it's far closer to the highs and the lows. We know 260 has been an elusive target today for Tesla. I don't want to say a quadruple top, but certainly there's been umpteen amount of resistance in the high 259s. Every time we get ascend into the 60s, 70s, 50s even earlier, we're met with some selling. But here we go. We're 10 pennies away from the high right now on Tesla as we look to break 260. And you're going to have to watch out for that volume coming in during power hour, baby, because yes, everyone is holding their breath for that robo-taxi event. They're waiting for Q3 deliveries to be reported. Both of those are going to be big events for this name simply because of the supply demand for EVs right now. And obviously, a lot of the price of Tesla is predicated upon successful robo-taxi launch. So a lot of people are going to be waiting for that. I can't wait for that. October 10th, we're obviously going to be covering it here if it's within, regular business hours. I'm pumped for it, though. What are your thoughts on Tesla anyway, just as a stock?
Tesla, like the stock?
Yeah.
As of right now, let's look at it.
Pamp it, says Neil.
Pamp. So, ooh, yes. So we are breaking those highs right now, or are we? I mean, we're near those highs. We are at 259.64. I definitely think that this is looking good. Let's look on the higher time frame. I really like that on the 30-minute. The 30-minute here, we have these wick bottoms here, 257.90, 258.37, as well as 258.17. So definitely, as long as we don't breach those, definitely Tesla looking nice for the long, and honestly, probably till the end of the day. But we'll see. I would say, take some out maybe around 3 and then reassess. But I think Tesla is looking really good as of right now. I really like the look on that.
Oh, yeah.
I got in this in the morning and it didn't do this. And I really thought Tesla was a long, but I just didn't get a good read on it in the morning. I was trying to go through that morning drive trade, trying to take it off of pre-market high. Obviously got in too early. I did have the right sentiment, but just didn't get in at the wrong time. So I hate that, but Tesla looking great. Awesome.
All right. I'm in UXIN. We're going to give this a try here because it did break 5, and now the volume is really moving here. So we're going to look to possibly, take this one to the north side. I am willing to defend this into 490 just because I know, the specialist breakdowns are real fast and furious. So it's not going to be just the $5 level that we look to defend. I'll be looking to defend into the 490s, and then that's really going to be generally that area is going to be my stopping block. There's a seller at 8s right now. You can see that we keep rejecting at 8s, and the size is not reflected there on the book. So this, pretty much leads me to believe, that it's a bit of a hidden seller, an iceberg order at 8s. Let's zig and zag right now on UXIN. We've printed 20 1/3 million shares on the day. Here comes 7s. Let's see if we can get a look at 8s over here as we ascend into 8s. A lot of buying, guys. Look at this, but no orange, though. A lot of green, but no orange. So, there we go. Now we're getting some orange. And what does orange mean? Just remind you guys, buyer exuberance, people buying above the ask. Here come 10s. Okay, let's see if we can get some 10s. No, so we're zigging and zagging still. So I'm going to pack my patience with this one, but the buyers are stepping in. Let's see here. They're dipping now. Oh, wow, the spread really opened up there. What the hell is that? Let's see if we can get filled at 92s. Ultimately, though, it's going to have to hold 80s. Otherwise, we want no smoke with this one. I want to see if this one can continue through 5 without bamboozling everybody. And that's the thing. We'll wait to see if this one can go. I kind of looked at the short float on this one earlier. I think I did. Yes, this one, a negligible short float, and says Neil, and he's accurate, 0.03%. There isn't much to talk about there. So if you're expecting any parabolic behavior to be manifested because it's got a short float, it doesn't. So you're going to have to base your, parabolic theory based on just the float, which is small. 510 HOD at the moment, printing 5s. Right now, let's see if we can zig and zag a little bit higher on UXIN. It's been a good day for it today with very respectful, I would say, of the 10 exponential on the 5. We'll have to see if we're extended above it right now. I want to see if we can move up a little bit. LU also had a hell of a move here. Where's my LU chart? I think I got rid of it. I think I switched GIVO for LU. Yes, there's LU. There's your big break. Through the top there, we were zigging and zagging at 3 1/3 for the majority of the morning. Then the volume comes in, the price action flies into that 344, so that probably stopped out a lot of shorts. But if you were long this name, good for you. I didn't want to get in this name because the volume was just too light. And you can see that depicted on how these candles look choppy. It's because volume's light on that. So yeah, back to UXIN, still in this trade. Where are we? I think we're like 2 pennies out of the money. Let's see if we can break the top here. Satea, 3 minutes left on the show.
Awesome. So you know what? I flipped my bias. I'm going long on NVIDIA. So I'm just chart back over. So listen, I have my stop loss at 120.49. Is that it? 120.49 to 45s. And so, just, kind of near this, candle low. So I'm thinking that I'm not trying to go too crazy with it. I have my take profit. Oh, I didn't even put it in there yet. But I'm thinking that I want to take profit around this 121 level. I definitely think that reasonably it could get up there. So I'm just going to put my take profit there. That is what I'm looking at as of right now. I'm looking at the book as of right now. Looks pretty decent. I'm going to filter out this. So I'm selling, but 64s. Yeah, it looks pretty decent as of right now, holding 65s. And so I'm looking for that long as well. Not going too crazy in terms of, my take profit. Just looking, for at least, a 30 penny move. So I think that is pretty reasonable, for NVIDIA today. NVIDIA is pretty volatile. I like the fact that it's using this, going up on this uptrend here. On the 3 minute, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green candles. None of them really breaking below the other. And so I really like that for the long. So yeah, I really changed my sentiment. It really bounced off near that 119.90. It bounced off at 120.14. And so I thought that we would get the breakdown because it's just been breaking down all day. Break dancing, but, it's going up now and I can't, stick to my bias because my bias is wrong, at least for right now. So I'm trying to, navigate with that and stay in the trade.
Did you watch breakdancing during the Olympics?
No, I heard that was a thing though, but I did not look at it. Did you enjoy it?
As an individual who was breakdancing in high school?
I used to break dance, honestly.
Did you?
Yeah, back in the day, my move.
We need videos.
When you go on your shoulder and neck and
yes,
put your legs in the air? Yeah, I used to do that.
The freeze, that's called the freeze.
The freeze. Yeah. I didn't know what the name was called.
Yeah,
I used to do that. That was my thing back in the day. Ask me to do that now, I'd probably break my neck. But,
I don't know about that.
But you know what? It is what it is.
It was good times, yeah. But there was obviously, I'm really happy that they actually included that in the Olympics, but there was obviously the fiasco with the Australian dancer and this, that, and the other.
What happened?
It's not a fiasco. It was good. Apparently, according to Neil, it was good. She's joking, obviously. No, I mean, it was interesting because, look, it was the best that country had to offer, and I don't want to disrespect her there, but look, I thought, that maybe they'd have some other participants there, but I like the sport. I like the sport. I like its addition into the Olympics. I don't mind it so much. Satea, I don't know why. Oh, because the big kahunas. Oh, it's 2 o'clock, man.
It's 2 o'clock, guys.
Totally talking about breakdancing. I don't even really know what time it is. Usually we're always throwing to them early. All right, guys, it has been a blast. Satea and I will see you next Wednesday. It's going to be Joe on Monday, but we're going to send you over to the big kahunas, and I'm going to go over to the green screen and get set up. See you guys soon.
Bye, guys.